Welcome to Liberty Falls. Population? Well, less than yesterday. Never been so glad to see backup arrive. Lucky I'm still in one piece. I need you to look for survivors. Secure any threats. Help me save this town. Copy.
Chuck and sticky.
Search the area. We've got 3 Janus science personnel missing. Their knowledge is critical to mission success.
I know this ain't taking nothing down.
Mum always told me to stop picking up scabs. Some things never change.
Double points.
Now that we have done that, I do, fellas, we got this business to take care of.
Any day now, you wooden sadist.
Keep pushing. We need to find out what caused all this, even if it turns out it was us.
I would you look at that, dude. That's
For me?
pretty good.
Really?
That's Mr. Big Man
What's the
Ross is
catch?
gonna take
Sorry,
this
just
pile
have it.
back over to the truck. Very good. Hardened style. Cut that out now. Amazing. We did it. We're balling.
At this point, I don't care
Or
if
we
it's
didn't do
fucking
nothing.
acorn.
Didn't
So long
think
as
about
the
it.
job gets done.
Check out what we did. Yesterday we didn't film nothing. We just got stuff done and didn't film nothing. And I'm sorry, but I'll show you guys what we did. We used all the cinder blocks because I was like, bro, I'm never gonna have man, I've got these cinder blocks laying
It's like
around
my seventh
forever. I'm never
birthday all
gonna
over
use
again.
them.
Only
And so I
thing missing
used
is
them
the drunk
for
papa
this.
clown.
You know, I made a burn pit so we can burn stuff. Because I don't think we're ever going to need firewood again, and we had this firewood, and so we got to get rid of that. We're trying to get use all these materials, but some stuff we're definitely not going to use, so we'll just burn it right there. Easy peasy. Got these cool little chairs. They're different distances away from this thing. Little campfire. You can get all nice and warm. Or if it's a big bonfire, you know, you stay back. Stay back.
Max armor.
we're gonna burn everything right there, and then we're gonna try to use everything here for the chicken coop. We're gonna have to use a lot of it for decorations, probably. That's gonna be the challenge. Trying to the chicken coop, all the stuff we have. We have got some stuff done. We're trying to get big and strong, so we're gonna need put some protein in it.
Bonus points.
Fine.
Jackpot. Right in the gob.
Hey, did you guys see that? I was on
Right, we've got some breaking news to bring you on the global tariff war that was launched by Donald Trump. Canada has just announced a series of retaliatory measures, including 25% tariffs on a variety of American goods. Here's the Canadian Finance Minister breaking it down.
Today, I am announcing that the Government of Canada, following a dollar-for-dollar approach, will be imposing, as of 12:01 a.m. tomorrow, March 13, 2025, 25% reciprocal tariffs on an additional $29.8 billion imports from the United States. This includes steel products for $12.6 billion and aluminum products for $3 billion, as well as additional imported U.S. goods for $14.2 billion, for a total of $29.8 billion. The list of additional products affected by counter tariffs includes computers, sports equipment, and cast iron products as examples. These tariffs are in addition to Canada's 25% counter tariffs on $30 billion of imports from the United States in response to U.S. tariffs put in place on March 4th.
Canadian officials are not mincing any words in their response to the Trump administration. Listen to this.
This is much more than about the economy. It is about
The hell out
future
of shooting
of
lawnmowers
our
with
country.
an air rifle.
Canadian sovereignty and identity are non-negotiable.
This needs to stop. This is hurtful for workers. This is hurtful for industry. This is hurtful for the competitiveness of North America.
Was that so
Canadian
hard?
steel and
You don't always
aluminum
need to be such a
are
massive
essential
twat.
for North America.
For a team who didn't expect to take on
The former U.S.
today.
ambassador to Canada and the
Handling
former
this well.
Michigan Governor James Blanchard is joining us right now here in the Situation Room. What's your reaction to what's going on? I mean, for me, as a kid growing up in Western New York, Buffalo, on the border with Canada, it's hard for me to believe that U.S. Canadian relations are in a crisis like they are. Stuff. It's totally unnecessary. Our relations with Canada
Give me an
today
axe. I'm gonna turn you into
are the
fire
worst in
starters.
modern history. Not just tariffs, it's the constant
You
insults
wouldn't
by
try to
the White
unlock a
House
knockoff
government
on me,
for
would you?
your state.
It's the vice president
Anyway,
saying that in the last few decades, Canada's treated us very badly. We've had this fabulous partnership and alliance all my life, and it's been seriously damaged these last month and a half.
It's also been vocal in verbal statements when you hear the president and the vice president and the prime minister of Canada and the Union as a government, as if Canada's a different state.
Well, it's an insult to Canada. Canadians find that as insulting as tariffs. Tariffs, of course, are totally unnecessary, and they're going to be inflationary. Yeah. Saying 50% is like saying, you're introduced to us. No, everything they're doing appears to be designed to destroy our fabulous relationship. I'm spending more time on Canadian television and radio telling the Canadians that the White House does not speak for 90% of Americans, that Canada is our most reliable, trusted, and best ally. It isn't just the economy and autos. I grew up in Detroit. Or agriculture. It's cultural. It's relatives. It's tourism. It's everything.
Trump say this is a million trade that he's launched against Canada. It's a drug that he's launched because of the drugs in the United States. He says
that's about less than 1%. Probably have more drugs going on and guns going. A lot of them, in terms of violence, I think they're going to be more states than South. This whole trade dispute is a manufactured dispute. It's made up. It's make-believe. We have a manufacturing surplus with Canada, by the way. We have an auto surplus with Canada. The only deficit we have with Canada is energy, and we want that energy. Canadian natural gas heats homes in Detroit. We have been energy self-sufficient since the first term of Barack Obama. Mr. Trump says we have an energy emergency. No, he ain't lost. No, we're energy self-sufficient. It's growing.
Double zero. One less fighter to worry about.
We're gonna cut the ribbon on a new modern bridge in Detroit, the Gordon Bridge, next fall. That is going to be a celebration of our relationship of families, tourism, agriculture, autos, manufacturing. We have an integrated economy with Canada, and we also have an integrated cultural relationship as well.
People don't necessarily appreciate it. People who live on the border with Canada, how much electrical power, for example, emerges from Canada into the United States and helps Americans. And in Michigan, in New York, and other states as well.
Oh, and New England, by the way. Quebec could shut down New England. Hydro Quebec. Yeah, but you know, one thing, too, people don't realize that Michigan is an agricultural state. We export billions and billions of dollars in agricultural products. Fruits and vegetables, they are grown principally all along our western shore. It's huge. And those products go to Canada, and they also go overseas. It's billions and billions. And we have, again, a trade surplus in agriculture with Canada. The other thing I want to mention is back when our auto companies were in trouble, you and I, we've dealt with this a few times, but in 2009, when Barack Obama crammed down administrative bankruptcy for General Motors and Chrysler to help them stay alive during the financial crisis, Canada also contributed to that, both Ontario and the federal government. So they were there when we needed them. When 9/11 hit us, the first ambassador in NATO to call our ambassador was the Canadian ambassador. Say, what can we do to help? This is an alliance my entire life and yours. And we cannot let the White House, Mr. Trump, put it asunder. We should.
And Christy, the top suppliers of steel we know to the U.S. are Canada, Brazil, and Mexico. Nearly all aluminum in the U.S. comes from Canada, and of course Canada now also slapping more tariffs on U.S. products. How is all of this going to impact the American consumer? Which products specifically could be affected?
I mean, all kinds of things, especially the auto industry, where even if you have a domestic producer of auto parts, parts of those parts actually could be Canadian steel that would be then tariffed, and that adds to the cost of even something made in the U.S. So it's a very integrated manufacturing and production system we have between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. And steel and aluminum are the backbone for so many of these products. So just about everything. And in fact, for cars, you see forecasts from anywhere from $4,000 to $12,000 for the added to the price of a new car or truck because of the metal and the other tariffs that the president has been threatening. Now, they have shut down autos so far and say they're going to maybe put those back on vehicles, but not the metal that goes into the cars. So that's a really important place to watch here, even as the inflation numbers give a little bit of a sigh of relief for so many people today.
Yeah, and of course, metal products go into a whole host of other things that we use and we consume. I understand we got the latest inflation report this morning. A little good news. What can you tell us about it?
So a little lighter, as the economists would say, than expected. So inflation still higher than the Federal Reserve would like to see, still higher than normal, but 2.8% inflation growth year over year, and growing from January to February 0.2%. That was better than so-called experts, as the president would say, were expecting. And in fact, half of that gain is because of shelter. We still have a housing crunch in this country, a housing affordability crunch, and you're seeing that still in those numbers. But certainly that is better, and moving finally in the right direction. So 1 month is not the whole trend, by the way, but we'll keep watching.
And I can't help but wonder, the tariff stuff we've been talking about.
Those are not
Might look like a fever dream,
This
but
is rear
can't
view
wait to see
mirror.
how it works.
We know the future, though, very murky because these costs, tariffs are surcharges at the border, and people who import pay that, and then they can pass some of that down to consumers.
So we are starting to see the ground level impact of all this. The Kentucky bourbon industry, for example, struggling already because of Canadian reprisal. Craft brewing companies planning to incur thousands in higher costs for cans. But
In an unbelievable moment, Caroline Levitt was fact-checked in real time, schooled by an Associated Press reporter over her complete denial of reality with regard to how tariffs work. Here is the reporter explaining how tariffs really work. Caroline Levitt insists that that's not true. She's wrong. This is come back in confrontation that I would like to see every single day is fired.
If we could just step back for a second. When President Trump last addressed the VRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tech.
I'm going to say this at risk of my job, Kelly, but what President Trump is doing is insane. It is absolutely insane. It is about the 8th reason we've had for the tariffs, and now he's saying he's putting 50% tariffs on Canada unless they agree to become the 51st state. That is insane. There is just no other way of describing it. And the trouble, Kelly, is that it shows there are no bounds around President Trump. This is very different from the first administration, where there were people around him who seemed to, I don't know what the word is, but smooth over some of the edges now. And the other thing that's not talked about, Kelly, is what's going on within the administration in terms of how they're treating the Constitution and laws. I think all of that is bad for the attraction of capital. And the gentleman from Bridgewater is 100% right. We need massive amounts of capital if we want to fund our deficits, pay for the things we want to pay for, sell our bonds, and have high stock prices. And it seems as if this administration is doing everything it can to chase foreign capital away.
Well, and we could go into the strategy of the insanity as a strategy in terms of our trade.
Insanity is not a strategy. I'm sorry. I'm with you, Kelly, in trying to look for silver linings. I'm a sane
not
person.
Silver linings, tactics.
Some explanation for this other than insanity. I'm ready to accept it if you can come up with one.
That was CNBC senior economics reporter Steve Leisman injecting a desperately dose of talent into the political zeitgeist, wherein Trump is now suggesting that the only way he'll remove the crippling tariffs on Canada, crippling for Canada and the United States, to be clear, is if they decide to surrender their sovereignty and get annexed by the U.S. I mean, I'm sorry, but what the fuck are we doing? Even Jim Cramer, another CNBC host and oftentimes ally of Donald Trump, pushed back.
I don't think we'll have a recession. Like I said, it's manufacturing. It's manufacturing.
That doesn't mean there won't be. I'm not sure I understand.
Oh no, manufacturing can easily cause recessions. Absolutely. I'm not saying that manufacturing is not going to happen. Right. I'm saying manufacturing is that you can make it happen. And when you get angry, when you kind of lose your temper and you get mad instead of like the way Sean Scheinbaum's handled it in Mexico, it gets people nervous and upset. They want the president to be a little happier. They, there's never being happy. You can be tough as nails and be happy. But right now it just feels like, we're going to just screw people have been screwing us for years, and we're going to fight back, which is true. It's absolutely true, but you got to explain it very calmly and empirically how we're being hurt by it in Italy, how we're being hurt by it. And this is going to stop, and we're going to make it stop. And then don't scream at those countries. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because they know that they can stand their ground. You tell them, look, I am going to scream at you. Help us, and we'll help. People are scared. Scare people. You don't scare. It's a wrong call. It's a wrong message. People are scared. In other words, the only reason that we fall into a recession is if Trump tips us into one. And yet, because Trump issued the clarion call, his dutiful little minions jump on board. Here's his press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, willing to sacrifice our entire alliance with Canada, our neighbor and closest ally, all in deference to this unhinged scheme by Trump.
I wonder, does this administration still consider Canada to be a close ally of the United States?
Well, I think Canada is a neighbor. They are a partner. They have always been an ally. Perhaps they are becoming a competitor now. But as the president also laid out in his Truth Social post today, he believes that Canadians would benefit greatly from becoming the 51st state of the United States of America. And I actually looked into some of the research about the cost of living in Canada, and the cost of living is much higher than it is here in the United States of America. The average cost of a home in Canada is much higher. In Quebec, the highest tax rate for an income of $150,000 or more is 53.3%, more than half of Canadians' incomes they are being taxed on. So the president has made it clear that he believes Canadians would be better served economically, militarily, if they were to become the 51st state of the United States of America.
Imagine being so willing to throw away our closest and most important alliance, all because Trump's ego is so inflated that he needs to do things to bolster his legacy. He isn't going to help anyone other than one person in his desperation to garner attention for himself. And let's be clear, just because Trump is deluded enough into thinking that this strategy is going to work, doesn't mean Canada is going to suspend reality for him. You don't gain anything by pandering to a madman. And one Canadian leader, Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, made that abundantly.
What it's done, it's united the whole country, and patriotism is running wild across the country, the likes I've never seen before in my entire life. We'll never become the 51st state. Canada's not for sale, and we want a great trading partner. We had the greatest neighbors in the world, the U.S., and it's not the American people. They didn't vote President Trump in on this type of mandate. He had a mandate for lower inflation, lower cost of living, create more jobs, and it's backfired on him. Inflation's going up, jobs will be he's taking more money out of Americans' pockets. For what reason? We're still trying to figure this out. Let's sit down at the table and negotiate this deal. If there's things he doesn't like, then we sit down and we have a conversation. But just going tit for tat, back and forth, all it does is hurt Americans.
In fact, Ford went on to explain what even the Republicans are saying about this behind closed doors.
It's not the American people. It's not even the Republicans I speak to. And behind closed doors, all of them are saying, this is crazy, what he's doing. And CEOs of the largest Fortune 500 companies are telling them, this does not work. Protectionism doesn't work. Do we want a fair deal? Absolutely. The only way you get a fair deal is by sitting at the table across from each other, and let's hash this out and be stronger together. We have more problems, more foes around the world than we want to focus on our friends. United we stand, divided we fall. And again, we want to be united with our greatest friends and allies.
That's crazy. Everybody knows it's crazy. That elected officials know it's crazy, and business leaders know it's crazy, and CEOs know it's crazy. The problem is the right's complete unwillingness to speak out publicly against Trump for fear of retribution. This is a party that beats its chest as being alphas, right? As the tough guys, the straight talkers, and no bullshitters. But God forbid they say one ill word of the God King, even as he plunges this country, and their political fortunes, by the way, deep into the throes of disrepair. We are literally on the verge of a recession, and yet still these Republicans are
from everything we heard when we're talking about a range of issues, he is not backing down. And let's talk specifically about tariffs, reciprocal tariffs in early April. Where are we on this in the economy? And he said, look, 105%, 2%, 100%, whatever it is, there's nothing more fair than that.
I think we can assume this is his strategy, and he is going to continue this trade war. He thinks this is his legacy to remake the American economy. Virtually every stakeholder in the economy is warning him that there will be really tough consequences for American business and for consumers. What are reciprocal tariffs? If a country has a tariff on American products to try to protect its own goods, he's gonna just match that. Or he has said maybe he'd even go further than that. So he says these tariffs are here, there will be more of them, and they are here to stay.
All right, let's play that specifically. This is exactly what President Trump just said about reciprocal tariffs.
If you need to hit the exit button,
As you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them. Nobody can complain about that. Whatever it is, it doesn't even matter what it is. If they charge us 25 or 20% or 10% or 2% or 200%, then that's what we're charging them. And so I don't know why people get upset about that, because there's nothing more fair than that.
People, however, Catherine, have been getting upset. And if you look at headlines that are playing out across the country, whether it's behind closed doors, Republicans on Capitol Hill, whether what we have seen firsthand, which is some of the town halls where people are very concerned about the impact overall on the economy, business leaders, we could go on and on about the number of people who are expressing concern, but according to the president, he doesn't know why people get upset.
Well, the reason why people are getting upset is that these tariffs will ultimately, at least in part, be passed along to Americans, whether American businesses or American consumers. The other thing I will point out is that he's not just saying tit for tat on tariff rates. He and his aides have also said non-tariff trade barriers, which are real things. There might be regulatory obstacles that make it harder to...
People may not know what that is, what you're talking about.
But that's basically like, I don't know, if there's some weird labeling issue that American yogurt needs to have, but other countries' yogurt doesn't have to have, that keeps American yogurt out of the market. That's the kind of thing that we might refer to as a non-tariff trade barrier or quota, things like that. So how they interpret those things and how they translate that to actual tariff rates is still up for debate. We don't know what that's going to mean, but that could as well mean higher tariff rates. And the other thing is, what about places that have lower tariff rates than us?
So the Elon Musk Tesla drama continues as the witnessing the greatest destruction of wealth of all time. That's the subject of today's video. And check out the headlines, guys. Elon Musk just lost so much money that even Trump felt bad for him. And you got this, Stephen King. CNBC is calling it the Tesla Chainsaw Massacre. This has been the absolute craziest story, and as you guys know, Elon Musk is messing with your money, your Social Security, your Medicare. He wants to fire you, take your livelihood, these kind of things. And of course, people are going to get upset, and he's getting involved in politics all around the world. You got this coming out of the UK. Brit's got a funny sense of humor here. It says, everyone hates Elon fake ads attacking Musk appear on London 2 and bus stops. Page doesn't sell, just ask Tesla. This is a new one also. Tesla squashed the car. Autopilot for car. Auto crash for your country. You have these kind of things popping up. Tell your neighbors, sell your Tesla. Don't let it happen here. Sell or squash the car. Don't be car implicit. This is a new one to Elon Musk and Dave Bellin inside the UK. Now, I'm American. You don't use this word. You guys are in UK. Please explain this one to me. I just don't know. It's like, what the heck? I think it means like stupid or dumb person. I know sometimes you say wanker. I don't know if you would describe Elon Musk as a wanker. Please let me know if you're from the UK. We just don't use these kind of words, but I can try. He's a bloody bellend and a bloody wanker. There you go. He also got this. From Smooth Doug, he says here, Elon Musk, these cops protect my property. This cop protects my feelings. Let that sink in. And then he's got the picture of the cop putting a a gun to the person, making you better laugh, right? That's sort of how Elon Musk's mentality is. This is another one from Smooth Dung. If people boycott Tesla, withhold their wages, yeah, he's really mad. They don't work for you. And Elon's like looking, do you think everyone on the planet works for you? I guess Elon Musk does. This is the kind of stuff that comes out of Fox News, and Elon Musk keeps retweeting these kind of things. Have a watch.
It's really horrific to see, because what is Elon getting for all of this? Much like Donald Trump, he didn't need this job, Sean. He's not taking a salary. It's actually laughable every time you hear these people on the left say Elon's enriching himself and his friends. You just talked about it. This guy is losing money because of what he's doing, but he understands the importance of this moment. We cannot continue in perpetuity spending the way we are. We cannot survive as a country. So people ought to be kissing the feet of Elon Musk and Donald Trump for being the two people to actually do this. But these folks on the left are going to continue down this path. And you know what? They're going to continue to lose the support of the American people. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, but I know not a single one of them is.
That was Lara Trump. She's saying we should be kissing the feet of Donald and Elon. Yes, I guess we all should be kissing their feet. And you're going to say more and more absurd things. You may not know this, Lara Trump is a Trump, but she married into the family, and I guess they get you benefits such as being able to appear on Fox News. What's going on right now, and you got to really point this stuff out. Musk is getting desperate, right? That's why they made videos yesterday with this seems like a cry for help from Musk. You got these headlines here. Donald Trump bought a $90,000 Tesla with 37 recall notices against it. Trump doesn't even drive cars. He's not even allowed to as president. And plus, I don't know if he knows how, because I have a feeling that he doesn't know how to drive for his whole life. That's Donald. You're like, okay, so how do we get to here? Well, this was a big story from the New York Times. Musk seeks to put $100 million directly into Trump's political operation. So there you have it. It was kind of crazy because Trump was trying to make the case that, Elon never asked me for anything. As he was selling Tesla in front of the White House, he's in front of the White House, Tesla dealership, and now he's reporting Elon is going to pay $1 million. This is actually a significant one. But this is different than the past, because in the past, Elon Musk donated to the Trump control group, which sort of Musk-controlled political action committees. So this $100 million, I guess, is more like a general Republican kind of fund. And basically, Trump people and Captain were complaining about Elon off his own thing, taking too much power, sort of a big fight with Marco Rubio. The Trump people, I didn't so they're, oh no, everyone's doing great, right? And so basically after the fight, we got Elon Musk to ante up, try to be part of the team. I think they must have talked to, and it looks like the deal was, if Musk, you're part of the team, Musk's like, okay, I'll give you $100 million to be part of the team, but you have to sell my Tesla in front of the White House. I mean, it's plain as day. So that's corruption. Not everyone is on board with corruption. This is coming from CNBC. It says here, Tesla investor survey shows 85% believe Elon Musk's policies are having negative or really negative impact on the company. And this is interesting because Morgan Stanley, there's an analyst over there named Adam Jonas, and he's like pro Tesla because Morgan Stanley has a lot of connections with Musk and Tesla. As I tell you guys many times on the channel, and he basically sent out an email to many people in the investor community, and that's what came back. This is something that Wall Street has to deal with. The challenge is how do you keep the stock propped up and crashing, right? Especially if we have, financial, we'll call it entanglements with Musk as he burns down his company. So they're trying to send them signals of like, dude, get out of that stuff. They're like, Musk is kind of a loose cannon, he's on whatever substances. And as you saw with the White House situation where like they got him to give $100 million to try to be more of a team player of the Republican side. It's just going to affect your company, your stock, because generally speaking, you want to sell products to as many people as possible. Just don't get involved in politics. And what's even more crazy is, just politically speaking, your cards have appealed more to Democrats, left-leaning people in the past. And now you're going to the party where they don't, favor your vehicle. So, like, obviously, you're going to get hurt. You even got this one too. You're pissing off so many people. Most Americans have a negative view of Elon Musk. That's a poll. I'll read the data here. It says 53% of Americans said they have an unfavorable opinion of the billionaire. 35% say positive, 9% say opinion. So 53% Elon. Again, 85% of investors and get out of politics. So this kind of data on Elon, 6 out of 10, or 6 in 10 say Musk lacks experience, judgment to change the government, right? So, like, what are you doing, Musk? But that's what it is, and it's going to affect your stock. That's why you're seeing the destruction of wealth. There's another Tesla analyst sees vehicle sales falling again this year. This is yet another one. Wall Street is basically coming out, giving changes to the rating of the stock. Says here McNally, who has the equivalent of a hold rating on Tesla stock, you can also call a hold and sell, said the company is seeing brand and volume destruction around the globe. Wall Street's opinion. Brand and volume destruction around the globe. He also wrote that in.
All right, folks, the news sheriff in town. Now we're looking at a good old-fashioned showdown. America versus Canada, Mexico, and China. And then yesterday, Ontario, their premier, Doug Ford, he announced that he was going to really race and do something profound, charge electricity, a surcharge to American cities on electricity. Ford, I guess he thought Trump was going to back down, but instead Trump pulled the old bad operating move by announcing a 50% tariff on Canada. By the end of the day, although some media outlets think that, or try to infer that maybe Trump blinked, the bottom line is Ford backed off, and my next guest says that Ford and its cheerleaders are making a massive mistake. I'm going to bring in now the former U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross. First and foremost, Wilbur, it is so great to see you, my man. It's been far too long. It's interesting to me that Ford thinks he can bring America to its knees.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, Charles. Anybody who thought that the right way to get Trump conciliatory is to be very aggressive against him doesn't understand Donald Trump. I think what Canada should have been doing is addressing the complaints that Trump has. For example, fentanyl. They keep saying, well, it's only 4 kilos of fentanyl. Well, 4 kilos of fentanyl that comes across the border can kill a heck of a lot of people. And they keep saying, don't worry about it. Well, there's a big chance that as Mexico helps us crack down on the cartels, they'll just move to Canada, and there's some sign that they're doing that already. So Canada should be aware of the problem, because fentanyl brings up a lot in Canada, and for Canada too, not just for us. And as to Ford, I think it's just politics. We're in a very crazy political season in Canada, and I think he, as the Prime Minister just of a province, was grandstanding. The idea that a provincial prime minister could change tariff policy between the whole country and Canada is a little far-fetched.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So my favorite chart of the day comes from Apollo. I love this chart, folks, because essentially what they're saying is that getting to smaller government, bigger manufacturing sector, lower imports, that's where we want to go. We want to go from A to B. The question is the gulf, right? The bridge to get to A to B, and just how long and painful it has to be. What are you telling Wilbur? What are you telling people when they ask this question?
Well, I think there will be some choppiness in the beginning because the capital expenditure enhancement that so many companies are putting in takes a while before it really percolates through the economy. But assuming that the president gets its tax bill through, removing the uncertainty as to what individual and corporate tax will be, and keeping them at the low levels that he put in, is really very important. I think, frankly, the other big variable is what does Chairman Powell do? Powell is low.
The latest inflation numbers are in, and after a red-hot January, we are now cooling off. Welcome to Big Money Show. I'm Jackie DeAngelis. With me, my co-hosts Taylor Riggs, Dagan McDowell, Brian Fremberg, and with us for the entire hour, Close Big Hedge Fund Manager, Jonathan Onig. Thank you for being here. A small but welcome dip in inflation as the markets keep a close eye on the Federal Reserve's next move. Big concern here, the looming refinancing of trillions of dollars in national debt. President Trump, however, says he's not worried about the chances of a recession.
I think you're right. I don't see it at all. Country's got a problem.
And while markets digest tariffs, prices are already coming down for American families. Egg prices have plunged nearly $2. They're lower than when Trump took office. A small win, but it does show progress is being made on the affordability crisis. Let's first go straight to Edward Lawrence. He is live for us at the White House. Hi, Edward.
Yeah, and the CPI inflation report came out, showed that cooling, that slight cooling, under 3%, now 2.8%. The core inflation, without food and energy prices, 3.1%, the lowest in about 4 years that we've seen. Now, the Federal Reserve will look at this and they'll say, well, this is a good report, but let's pause and wait. That's the indication. They're going to pause and see how this kind of all plays out here. It's good that there were no increases in this inflation report. Now, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says this about the report, quote, President Trump is driving down costs through massive deregulation and energy dominance. The entire Trump administration will continue focus on fixing the economy and inflation nightmare created by the Biden-Harris administration to unlock the golden age of America. Now, the CPI numbers will not put downward pressure on the markets. The Dow responding to the tariff back and forth that's still playing out. The president is talking about that right now in the Oval Office. Both Canada and the European Union announced reciprocal tariffs, retaliation tariffs, 25% steel and aluminum tariffs. The Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick believes the policies unfolding will not cause a spike in inflation.
Let's start again. Let's take a step back and remember inflation, right? Inflation comes from a government printing too much money. The Biden administration having a $2 trillion deficit. You don't get inflation from having a tariff, because what a tariff says is if it's made in Europe, if it's made foreign, it might cost a little more, but that which is made in America does not cost more.
So while choosing a Tesla to buy yesterday, President Trump telling me that he's bringing about a fundamental shift in this economy. So, President, when you look at the market selling off, that didn't concern you, and where do you see it going?
I think some people are going to make great deals by buying stocks and bonds and all the things they're buying. I think we're going to have an economy that's a real economy, not a fake economy.
The president says he's shifting this economy from one that's reliant on tax money and government spending to one that's reliant on the private sector and standing on its own 2 feet.
Edward Lawrence, thank you so much. Meanwhile, we've got market insiders. They're sounding the alarm. Some of them are anyway, but not everyone's that concerned. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon sat down for an interview with our own Maria Bartiromo. He sees upside.
The president is engaged with the business community. The administration is engaged with the business community. And that's a different experience than what we've had over the course of the last 4 years. But CEOs are excited about some of the tailwinds you mentioned, like the move to lower regulation.
Shows and whatnot. But I remember a time when Rewind was like, oh, this grind, like, this is so hard. Because, like, if you're on your own, people are not used to, like, doing the Keemstar schedule, right? Like, Boogie, you're not used to the Keemstar schedule. Either in swings, right? Like, me and the kid behind the camera, we're so used to this, like, every single day you work type of shit. When you introduce this to new people, that's like a shock. But is it, now that you've been doing it for a while, is it really a grind? So it feels good, because if you don't remember, the way I built my YouTube channel, I was going to say, super jetted $20. Hey, Keem, I just wondered if you're talking to the innate, I wonder if I could come back. I miss hanging out with you guys. If I can, I understand. I just want to ask. Wait, that's name. Is that name?
No,
It's the one innate.
that's Tom. You know, he talks kind of funny.
Did he do
Hey,
Boogie, what are you doing, Boogie?
Had that problem with the TikTok videos and such. Yeah, he would harass people underage.
Oh, Yeah, no, you can't get back. CC, thank you for the 5 gifted. We appreciate you.
But I was going to say, the way I built my business originally, 2015, 2019, 2 hours of streaming a night, 1 video a day. This is still more work than that because I'm calling in on other shows and doing other stuff and help manage it. But it feels good to be back at it. I'm actually really happy.
Literal Sawyer, welcome to Cash Cow. And Poga, bro, you're like a fucking crown on other channels and you're throwing $2 at us. Fuck you.
I think my only issue with doing it every day is I feel anxious when I don't have a home run every day.
We do run out of gas. There have been periods of time where we put together shows on years.
Okay, but here's the thing. Douglas, thank you. Welcome to Cash Cow. Here's the thing. Our Psych, thank you for upgrading the Cash Cow. Here's the thing. Our fans, one in the chat, if you can kind of give us a pass because we're live today. So you know, like, at least 50% of our shows are like mid as fuck. They kind of give us a pass because we're live today. Like, we don't have to hit every day. Holy awesome with the 20 gifted.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think there's something to be said. Some people really like the crash out shows, the boring shows, whatever you call them. Like, they really, that's their preferred show. It's interesting.
Well, I would just say, like, the show that we're going to do today, if I had 3 days in the pressure cooker, it would be better than it's going to be today. Because, like, there's emails I've sent out, and there's things I've requested that I haven't got yet. So, like, it's just going to, we're going to have to do it without it.
I have a real interesting interview that nobody just got, and I got that today. And I was lucky to get it. Wait. I talked to the guy who's been harassing Ethan Klein, and I got a text interview with him that's now in the doc. And he said some wild ass shit.
So you see the guy that called CPS on Ethan Klein did an interview with you?
Reached out to him on Insta, asked him if I could share the screenshots. He told me everything, all of it.
Well, his side of the story. I've read the screenshots.
Yeah,
so I reached out to H3 and Ethan's personal business email, and I sent him something, seeing if he wanted to look at the screenshots and send me anything for his side of the story, and I haven't got back from H3 yet.
Dude, they're just, look, there's not enough time. We're going to be driving to backhand. Ethan Klein will probably, in the H3 podcast, will just react to whatever we show. So, yeah, okay, so then we do have a show tonight. That's amazing. I thought we were freeballing it tonight. Great work, Boogie. Great work, Wayne.
Listen,
holy shit.
Thank you. Trying to do some actual work on the last day.
Trippy and Leaper Bag, welcome to Cash Cow. We appreciate you. Guys, listen, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound like e-bagging or whatever, but it's not. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you, keep it a buck with you after this donut plays.
Imperfect super chatted $20. I think what makes the show so great is it's like watching a TV show every day, usually just a casual episode, but then a banger happens.
True. If you are not a member, if you are not a member, and I'm talking like even $5 a month, like if you're nothing, just a viewer, be a member now, because the first day of Backhand, which will be the 16th of March, which is on Sunday, we are going to be running a members-only stream, and it's going to be for hours. It's Sunday. It's the weekend, so we can go live all day long. All right, and that is the first day we're at Backhand. So we're going to set up the studio, and we're just going to be live all day.
I was really hoping we'd do that, because that's going to be super chill.
Yeah. And it's honestly going to be members only. You know how I do the fake members only? Like tonight, I put members only in there. That's just the fake new memberships. That's my little scam, right? Like it's only members are going to be able to see it, right? Even though it's just members of the chat. But I'm telling you, on Sunday it will actually be a members only stream. So if you're not a member yet, you need to get in there for that, because we're going to be live all day Sunday. And then on Monday, the 17th, that will be the official launch of Backhand, and that will be the first Backhand stream. So, Rob, welcome to Cash Cow. JD, welcome to Cash Cow. And all the people joining Bannerworld, thank you so much. And Gamer with a 20 gifted. So this is the stream where you want to get your membership, whatever it is. You know, if you do Cash Cow or higher, you can get access into the Discord, you can actually be on the phone with us. But if you just do Van World, you'll be able to watch it, right? That's the most important thing. So at least get up to Van World. Now that I've covered all that, we have a brand new schedule.
Iberia Super Chat at $19.99. No Diddy. Keen has been looking very good and healthy lately. Keep it up, Keen.
I look healthy right now. I think I look like a dad.
No, you look the same. And your money's safe too, because like I put some water weight back on. I'm not going to be under 400 by the time I get done.
Jordy.
I went from 406, and then the last 2 days I went back up to 411.
I have $1,000 on me just to hand it to you IRL, so I don't even have to bring it?
No, you probably don't. Like, unless something happens magically during 3 days of travel, which, you know, when you're traveling, you're going to eat like shit.
And you're I am literally so happy I don't have to give you $1,000. Holy shit. I'm proud of you. Thank you for not fucking me. But I am proud of you. You still lost like 20 pounds, man.
Yeah, well, I think I'll be close to 30 pounds lost in a month.
You know, Trex and Mrs. Jones, welcome to Cash App. We appreciate you guys. Who's spamming the dollars at me? Wait, stop that now. Alright. So what else have we got?
Rosie O'Donnell has left America and moved to Ireland because of Trump's election victory.
Well, hey everybody, it's me, Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones. And I'm here in Ireland, in the process of...
And I mean, like, because you've got to understand it from her point of view. This is a guy who began his political career. The first major W Trump ever had in his political career was calling this woman fat.
Well, Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting, both inside and out. You take a look at her, she's a slob. Rosie failed. I'm happy about it.
You never stop.
Let's see, I'll play it. Some people might not.
You call women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
So, anyway.
I miss my other kids. I miss my friends. I miss...
So she left the country and left her kids in the other country because of some, like, derangement about Trump? Oh my god.
And I'm trying to find a home here in this beautiful country. And when, you know, it is safe for all citizens to have equal rights there in America.
What is this?
When people consider coming to...
Oh my god, equal rights. Yeah, people actually, like, it's crazy. Wait, no shot brought it up today to the Prime Minister.
All kinds of urges to punch that fella right in the balls.
Yeah, true.
I like that.
You know who she is?
You better not know.
Well, there it is. I mean, if I was her, as I said, I do not blame her for that. If I was her and the person that built their political...
But then you also overnight had this post claiming that protests at Tesla dealerships are illegal. He said today he would label violence protests.
It's so dishonest. It is crazy. This is the problem, is that, like, the people that do this live in so many layers of dishonesty that it's like it's almost impenetrable. Another round of most people, yeah, I guess so, right?
Against dealerships, domestic terrorism, and you know I am judicious in how I play this sound, but I think you need to hear it from
Winner! Good news, door is open. Bad news, door is open.
At dealerships, some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists. I'm going to stop them. We catch anybody doing it because they're harming a great American company. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla, you do it to any company. We're going to catch you and you're going to go to hell.
But just to be clear, you protest a private company, you are
labeled by this administration a domestic terrorist. Look at the first day. Someone it's not about the protests. Even the reporter is wrong in the discussion. I think the reporter would have a point if Trump was saying just the protesters, but he's not talking about just the protesters, and neither is the reporter asking the question. Let's listen to this.
Just give me something that shoots straight, and we're gone.
And look at her. Really? You're like, oh, oh my god, bro, this is so smug. This is how idiots get brainwashed? I know.
Stupid wooden rat bag's about as useful as a fart in a jar.
The violence. So, are we saying that violence is protesting? I don't think that's the way it works. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists because I'm going to stop.
So great news, everybody. The day after the stock market completely crashed because Donald Trump suggested in a Sunday interview with Maria Bartiromo that perhaps a recession is coming. And again, that led to massive stock sell-offs on Monday and Tuesday of this week. But on Tuesday morning, after the big market crash, Donald Trump decided to get on Truth Social and make everything 1,000 times worse. Because not only did people lose their 401ks, big businesses saw huge gains wiped out. I think overall the market lost $4 trillion in value. And then Trump got on Truth Social and announced even more tariffs against Canada. Here's what he says. Based on Ontario, Canada, placing a 20...
This isn't the island that I asked for. The island that I asked for. The island that I asked for was not part of the gang. Aslan was not part of the gang. Why is Aslan part of the gang now? I did not ask Aslan to be part of the gang. Aslan was not part of the gang. Why is Aslan part of the gang now?
5% tariff on electricity coming into the United States. I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25% tariff, up to 50%, on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world. This will go into effect tomorrow morning, March 12th. Also, Canada must immediately drop their anti-American farmer tariff of 250% and 390% on various U.S. dairy products, which has long been considered outrageous. I will shortly be declaring a national emergency on electricity within the threatened area. This will allow the U.S. to quickly do what has to be done to alleviate this abusive threat from Canada. If other egregious long-time tariffs are not likewise dropped by Canada, I will substantially increase on April 2nd the tariffs on cars coming into the U.S., which will essentially permanently shut down the automobile manufacturing business in Canada. No, you idiot. It will shut down the automobile manufacturing business here in the United States, as will your additional tariffs on steel and aluminum. You know why we're bringing steel and aluminum in here, right? Because those cars that are allegedly made in the USA, yeah, they're made here. They're put together here.
Is Fox News turning on MAGA and Donald Trump? Could this be the beginning of the end of Fox News supporting Trump? We'll start with the clip we already checked out at the top of the show. Peter Doocy pointing out to Trump that there is something a little bit disgusting about him making a big show of casually buying a Tesla. Why not, right? While people are struggling, seeing every day the stock market dropping, their retirement money evaporating, and meanwhile Trump's buying a Tesla. Isn't this potentially going to rub people the wrong way? A really good question from Fox News' Peter Doocy.
President Trump buying a new car, while there are some folks who will see this clip at home and they are struggling with their retirement accounts down at the moment, uncertainty about work ahead.
Well, I think they're going to do great. I think our country had to do this.
All right, so Trump obviously doesn't deal substantively with what's happening to people's retirement accounts, but Peter Doocy's asking a question. You wouldn't normally expect this from Fox News. We then heard more from Peter Doocy yesterday, where he said Trump is the one whose economic policy is not going so well. Take a listen to that.
This is the White House. They came in trying to get federal workers to retire by the hundreds of thousands, but it's tough to make the argument that you should retire if your retirement accounts are getting throttled, which is what is happening right now.
A very good point. When you're starting to lose Peter Doocy, you know things aren't going well. And when you get called out on national TV because your influence on the economy is bringing it down, you know it's bad when it's your typical mouthpiece, Fox News. More minor, but still something. A discussion about what's continuing to happen in the economy on another Fox News.
And if you have different people in the administration giving different messages, I mean, the Commerce Secretary and the President are having different messages on the same day. That's not giving the market any sort of ease or certainty for investors. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have an even greater crash.
We should let Jonathan keep talking because the market's come back 50 points. Obviously, the Dow is 1,500 points below where it was when Donald Trump took office.
Yeah. They're just telling the truth, right? And we'll talk about what this really means bigger picture. Just one more of these. Here is a Fox Business Post talking about the hideous situation in the stock market.
Breaking news, what started as an ugly day on Wall Street has turned downright hideous. Broad-based selling across the board, and you could call it a sinkhole that's opened up under the NASDAQ. With 59 minutes left to trade, the tech-heavy index is down This is a big, big percentage loss here, 4.6% or 845 points. But I want you to turn your attention to the S&P 500 that really got traders squirming. The broader index down
We're squirming all right.
188 points. So basically what that indicates to you, and yes, we are at the lows of the session, it has now fallen below its psychologically important 200-day moving average. That's considered a sell signal. Now,
All right, listen, she's getting into stuff that's really more about traders than it is long-term investors who are just letting their 401k money sit in the stock market. But what's the point here? The point here is that Fox News appears to be starting to turn on Trump. Now, let me tell you what this is really about. If you're sitting there going, this is it, they've lost Fox, next thing you know, Hannity will be calling for impeachment or the 25th Amendment. No. This is a calculated measure to show, listen, everybody sees what's happening. Everybody sees what's happening. In order to maintain a veneer of objectivity, we need to at least just point out what's happening. If we applied this elsewhere, we wouldn't say, oh, they've come around on climate change just if they go, there's a hurricane. No. They mentioned there's a hurricane today to maintain the veneer of being able to say, no, we tell you what it is that's really going on. And what has happened is that the stock market situation has gotten so bad. The potential for a recession has gotten so unavoidable in terms of we can't ignore it. Fox has decided we're going to interject little doses of reality here. It is Trump's economic policy that is at least a factor here. It might not look good to be buying a Tesla when people's retirement accounts are collapsing. So that then, in the bigger picture, we don't want socialist Democrats. This is still better than Kamala Harris, is able to pierce through and reach their audience. That's my belief as to what this is really about. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will see Fox News genuinely turn on Trump, but I would be shocked. But now let's see how Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is dealing with this stuff. I have a book coming out. I've spent a long time working on this. I couldn't be more excited to share it with you. It is called The Echo Machine, and it answers a crucial question. How did American politics get so broken? And just as importantly, how do we fight back effectively before it's too late? Trump back in the White House, damage piling up, an administration filled with extremists and loyalists, attacks on democratic institutions, policies hurting working people. If you felt like you're screaming into the void, why are you here?
I've been trying to date. Having a lot of debt has been making it really hard.
Are you sure that's why they're not in the... I mean, come on, I've been talking to you for 15 minutes, and no offense, but I wouldn't even come close.
Fine, you're not my type anyway.
That's not the point. Getting up every night and then not showing up to work the next morning, that is a loser. A loser.
That's just your opinion.
Download my new Simpler Budget app today and take control of your money once and for all.
Hi, my name is Miranda. I'm 25 and I'm from Joliet, Illinois, and this is Financial Audit.
Thanks for coming down to Austin. What do you do up there in Illinois?
I work for Amazon. I'm a warehouse associate for them.
I hear interesting things. We've all heard interesting things. Is it good? Do you like? Some people say good. Some people say like.
The warehouse that I work for is amazing, but do I like my job? No. I would rather just move up in the company.
But you want to move up in the company, so you like.
Eventually, but what I do right now, I don't like.
Okay. What do you make?
I make $23.40 an hour.
Okay. Juliet. How many hours a week do you work?
So I'm supposed to be working 40 hours a week.
Supposed to be. Well, how many hours a week are you working?
Around 32 to 35.
Why, if you're supposed to be making 40?
Well, I kind of have a hard time getting up in the morning, so I'm often late to work.
Why would they not fire you?
That's a good question. Honestly, they have to right in their mind.
Well, I mean, obviously. Maybe they're like struggling with work demand, people not wanting to take those jobs. So they're afraid of you. How long have you been there? How long have you been slacking?
I've been slacking for like 3 years now.
How the fuck are you there still?
Right?
25, so since 22? You seriously, so what time are you supposed to show up and what time do you show up normally?
So I'm supposed to show up at 7:30 in the morning, and I usually show up anywhere between 8 to 1 p.m. It just depends on the day. I mean, you know, it's just hard to get up in the morning sometimes.
Yes, I know that. Everyone knows that. Literally everybody, every human in the big world knows that. That's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Well, I'm just sitting here and I see this stack of paper. I see all this shit. What? You have no work ethic to get out of bed. Sorry, I don't mean to go too intense out of the gate. How are you going to get out of this? Why are you here? What's going on?
I mean, I obviously
Why are you here? What's going on?
I need help, and I figured that you guys would be able to help me. Right? I mean, I need help. I need to get myself out of debt.
Yeah. Why?
Well, I've been trying to date, and having a lot of debt has been making it really difficult.
That's not featured on a Tinder profile.
No, but like eventually when you talk to someone...
Are you sure that's why they're not into you?
I mean, there could be other reasons, but I'm pretty sure it's the fact that I'm in a lot of debt.
Why do you think it's that reason?
Usually things go well until they figure out, like, oh yeah, Miranda has, like, no money to, like, go out and do things.
No money's different than high debt. Given a strong income situation, maybe we can get out of debt. If we have the ability to control our impulses and be a mature individual, we can get out of debt. But I am concerned with your inability to literally show up to work on time for 3 years, which I'm actually kind of disappointed you have.
Well, okay, can I just defend myself for a second, though? It wasn't like for the full 3 years I was late. It's only just been recently.
You literally told me 3 years, lady.
Yeah, but you asked me how long I've been with the company. I've been there for 3 years. I started slacking, I would say, maybe like 6 months ago. So.
Why?
I mean, it's just hard to get out of bed. Chicago winters are rough.
They are. Midwestern winters are rough. I mean, I'm from right across the lake.
I've been sipping like espresso, so.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I think also.
So 6 months. Has a manager had a conversation with you?
No.
How many people do you work with?
It depends on the time of year, but it's usually around like 700 people.
Are there job openings right now?
No, not right now. Not
really?
Yeah.
Could they never? Do they maybe not even know because there's so many people and you're exposing yourself literally right now?
Well, they definitely know. I've had HR talk to me, but that's different from management.
Okay.
So.
Oh, you were interesting. That's so good. Interesting. Oh,
and another
my life.
fun.
1 second. No, I don't give a shit. You can tell me in a second. Sorry. Oh, I don't want to be mean. Oh, your personality does not vibe with the things I look for in individuals to enjoy being around. Okay, so HR has talked to you.
Yes.
Starting when and how many times?
Well, they started talking to me back in December during peak season, and that's
they probably couldn't do anything then because...
No, but they did have a massive, like, what's it called, where they fire a lot of people. And I mean, I wasn't in there, so I think I'm good.
Was that in your position?
Yeah.
People
associates. Yeah.
Do you perform well while you're there?
For the most part,
would that be the only thing? There's metrics they track, right?
Yeah, it also probably had to do with like my tenure there.
But it's not like official tenure. Are you unionized? So what are you talking about?
So Amazon has permanent employees and temporary employees during the peak season.
Well,
so.
Yeah. Just like
so they fired all the peak season people that were seasonal and.
Well, they were seasonal. Is that firing? Like they would know. It was. Come on.
Yeah, but
you said that out there.
They have the capability of hiring those people on if they needed to. But they also fired some permanent people as well during that time.
Okay.
I don't know how many.
Okay.
Not
And HR, the conversation with HR, tell me.
Pretty much they were just like, so we noticed that you're negative in a specific, like, time. What's going on with that? And I told them, and they were just like, oh, okay, we'll try and do better, so. I mean, I am trying to do better. I mean, I used to go in at like 1 p.m. and now I'm going in at like 8. That's only 30 minutes late. That's not horrible. It's not horrible.
So you're trying to date.
Trying. It's kind of hard.
Because you have debt?
Well, I mean, yeah, I have so much debt.
I've had married couples on the show that have beyond more debt than you. Your total debt, you have a lot of different debt, but your total number added up across the board isn't like the most brutal number we've had on the show by far.
No, but for what I make, I
Do you know
feel like
how
it's
much debt? It is, yeah. I mean, it's essentially your hourly income.
I think it might be like 17,000?
21,000. And it's not good, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to set it up to say that that is good. But there's a lot of people on the show who date that. I dated when I had worse debt.
Okay, but like it's different. Like it's different. Like I'm pretty sure
that's the thing that's different.
I'm pretty sure my ex broke up with me because I was in debt.
Okay, he didn't tell you?
Well, he gave me an answer, but I don't know if I really.
And go on. If that is the thing you are focusing on that I'm apparently spending an hour of my time with today.
Well, I just feel like.
What did he say was the question that you're going to answer? Thank you.
He said that he just wanted some time for himself. He wasn't sure if he wanted to go back to school, blah, blah, blah. So, but I'm pretty sure it was.
How long are you guys together?
2 years.
Will you allow me to call him in the post show?
Maybe.
And actually find out the reason?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll do that then. So you think that dad is on the back? Okay, you've been at the shop for 3 years. Maybe you're not making it. Oh, you're certainly not working. You're paid hourly. Good thing not salary, or else they would have paid you for essentially time theft. But you're only getting paid for the time you're there, so maybe that's why they're a little less freak outy. When was the last time you had a conversation with HR?
Would have been last week.
And?
Well, I was the one that went to them to see.
Tell me.
They just said keep trying to come in on time using other
babies. It's annoying. Just children. What is happening?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot happen, so I just.
Everyone's had a lot happen.
But it's different. It's easier to wake up a little bit later. I have extra time for myself before going into work, making sure I'm good. So.
So what time do you wake up?
When I'm supposed to, or?
What time are you supposed to versus what time do you?
I should wake up at 6 a.m., but most of the time I wake up like around 7:30 or 8. So.
What can you do for yourself? What about an alarm clock across the room that you have to get up to turn on?
I won't be able to hear it. I sleep really hard.
You won't be able to hear it? I think you'll be able to hear it. 2 alarm clocks.
Yeah, but then what? My neighbors are going to hear it, and then I'm going to get, complaints on my...
No, that's why you have to get up to turn them off. What are you talking about?
If I don't hear them when they ring, because I'm sleeping hard, they're going to complain.
You're telling me you do not wake up with alarm clocks. Are you actually telling me that?
I mean, I do have a really hard time. I have to set like 100 different alarms.
No. That's not you waking up. That's you hitting snooze.
No, that's me literally sleeping through my alarms.
So, does an alarm just turn off? Why do you set 100? What do you mean? My alarm doesn't just turn off. It waits for me.
So, I feel like the ones on iPhone, like, if it
that's
plays for a while, they'll just stop.
Maybe. I guess I've never let it go that long. I've had them go, okay. You're interesting. Yep. Oh, yeah, well, your account on a monthly basis with your 32 hours a week that's supposed to be 40 that you refuse to do because you can't wake up because you're a hard sleeper.
I think it's like 2,000, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe
I had 2,600 hit.
Okay.
Does that sound right? Was that higher than normal?
No, that sounds like what it should be. It should be
Why did you say 2,000? It should be, but you don't wake up.
Exactly. I was factoring.
Why did you say 2,000?
Because I was factoring in me not, like, getting up on time.
Did you start getting up on time? I'm trying to calculate what is income normally going to be as we go throughout this conversation.
It's kind of hard to know when you're not consistent with going to work.
You're not consistent until ebb and flows.
Yeah.
It's full ebb flow?
Yes.
So is this considered a good month?
Or a normal month? Oh, God. Okay. Whoa, wow, wow, wow. It's going to take interesting back and forth just to get any kind of answer, isn't it? How much did you spend last month? Yeah, how much did you spend? You don't know the number. No one knows the number. That's why you're on the show. But what do you think you spent? 3,000. You spent a few $100s more than you make, even though you're in debt, and your priority is paying off debt because that's why you think guys don't like you. Interesting actions to get to the goal we're trying to get to.
Yeah, I've been trying to find a second job. It's hard.
Well, wait, but that's not. But how would you just work the hours that you're already given? What are you talking about? You need a job that. Okay, do you need an evening job? Is that what aligns with you? Because if so, yes, let's get an evening job.
No, I just need a second job. But it's
no. Why don't you work the hours you are fucking given? What are you talking about?
I do. I'm just late sometimes.
You're late 8 hours a week. That's a substantial hit. You're losing almost a fourth of your income. You're losing almost a fourth of your income. That's usually what you do not need. You don't need a second job for that.
It would help, wouldn't it?
I think capturing back a fourth of our income would help the most to start off with. The things that are guaranteed.
Yes, but also getting a second job.
Why be extra tired by... I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sure deep into a relationship, yes, the conversations around money, they get important, and sure it could be a turnoff if someone has a lot of debt, but I would say it's more of a turnoff someone's behavior, and I think your behavior is really what's showing it. I mean, come on, I've been talking to you for 15 minutes, and no offense, but I wouldn't even come close. Like...
It's fine, you're not my type anyway.
That's not the point.
But I mean, I don't know, I feel like I'm doing okay.
But you are spending $300 more than you make on a monthly basis, and you don't show up to work on time, and you're looking for a second job instead of capturing back a fourth of the hours that you're supposed to be working that you're not working. You have $21,000 in debt, even though $2,600 comes in on a monthly basis. You essentially you have like 10 months of your net income is debt. That's fucking crazy. It's a disgusting number. You're moving nowhere in life. You're getting talked to by HR. It can always be worse. I don't ever want to hear that again. There's a financial audit infinity stone if I've ever heard one. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. I'm just trying to actually get to your point about, yeah, you're right. In relationships, the money can be an issue. And it can sometimes be a turnoff. I would say it's more the behavior. If you're not paying off your debt, you have no desire to pay off your debt, which you are not, and you do not, then yes, that within itself would be that within. What the fuck are you possibly going to say to that?
I was going to say I make the minimum payments. Like,
that's
what do you mean I'm not paying?
No.
It's just going to take.
You spend an extra $300. You can make it go long. You can make it go quicker. If a dude is looking at you and is like, okay, I might spend my extra life with that, then maybe the person I want to be with is actually trying to make progress towards paying off their debt quicker instead of someone who's psychic and doesn't even go to work on time. I'm just like, well, I don't know if... I kind of understand why people wouldn't want to be with you.
That's their decision, I guess. I mean...
Yes, it is. Isn't that the whole thing?
Well, I mean, I dated someone for like 4 months, and they kind of... Okay, yeah, exactly. So I started talking to them, I dated them for a little bit, and around like 4 months they sort of figured out like, oh, this person doesn't have money, and then they broke up with me.
I don't think it's the fact that you don't have money, I think it's the fact that you blow all your money plus more and you refuse to pay off your debt, and that's what equals doesn't have money. I think that's what it is. It is the behavior, and it shows the quality of your personality, and why would someone want to be with that? I am sorry, that sounds so insulting. I don't mean it as that. I don't mean it as an insult. It is a reality of the situation that you have brought to this show, that you have vocalized on the show, and I'm going to be candid about it just like any other topic that someone would bring to this show. Where do you think you stand in the world of finances? 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Where do you think you stand?
Probably like a 1.
Okay, and that's oddly reasonable for you with this conversation so far. If you want your Hammer Financial Score, it's free. We'll give it to you. All you have to do is just take the assessment. Check that out. Link in the description below, or go to calebhammer.com. And if you want to be on the show, get a more thorough beating financially, go to calebhammer.com/reply. We'll have you down here to Austin, Texas. It's a good time. It's a fun day. Yeah. So, all right. Let's get into these documents. Let's do it. Mission Lane. What's going on with this card? Miss Miranda.
I got that card, I don't even know when, but it was just supposed to be an extra card I have to raise my credit limit, so. But then I used that card after I moved into my first apartment in January, and I split a lot of the furniture that I got on there.
January? I have $75 in extra since the purchase.
January of last year.
What am I just about that? Okay.
I mean, you asked me a question and I answered it.
Kind of. Most of us understand the importance of having an emergency fund for life's unexpected moments. But have you also prepared for life's biggest emergency? Will your family be taken care of if something happens to you and you're not there to provide for them anymore? That's right, I'm talking about life insurance. But not the stuff the old life insurance that takes forever to get and locks you in for life. I'm talking term life insurance. And thanks to today's sponsor, Fabric by gRRwjmrr, applying for term life insurance is not only easy, but it's quick and affordable. You can take the steps to making sure your family is protected and do it right from the comfort of your own home. With Fabric, you can be covered in just 10 minutes and you don't even have to get up from the couch. That's right, instant coverage is available, possibly without even a health exam. If you already have life insurance through work, the bad news is policies usually won't follow you when you change jobs. They also might not cover exactly what your family needs, especially when they rely on your income. So getting term life insurance from Fabric can help give you some peace of mind, knowing that you have a plan and your family can have some protection if the unexpected does happen. And for those of you that are young and healthy, the time to lock in life insurance is now. Fabric offers high-quality policies that fit your budget and your family's needs. Great options as well, like up to $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. They even offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time. So you're not locked in, and there's no risk of taking the first steps in making sure your family has some protection for the future. Plus, Fabric helps you organize even more of your family's financial needs. With tools like free digital wills, kids' investment accounts, and access to college saving funds, you can take care of it in one place. No hassle, and it could not be easier. So don't wait. Take these steps now. Help protect your family's future tomorrow. Apply today at meetfabric.com/Caleb or click the link in the description below. That is meetfabric.com/Caleb and meetfabric.com/Caleb. I meant like what is happening with it now. But sure. Listen, the thing is, the balance.
It's maxed out, so like not a little.
Yeah, it's basically maxed out, but it wasn't. It went up with your purchases, and then the $50.79 of interest that was accruing with an $81.79 minimum payment. So the balance on it right now, we are sitting at $2,057.66. That is what you thought your monthly net income is. That's just one credit card out of a pile that we are going down. Again, $81.79 minimum payment. Okay, and yes, you're like $40 from the max, $42.34. So what is going on with this card now?
It's just sitting there because I don't want to put any.
No, you purchased on it. That's a fucking lie.
I did.
I literally have already said you did.
Well, like I don't remember. In that month?
The month that we're talking about? Yes! The month where I said you spent $79.19. Yeah. Yes, you did. You did, Miranda. You did a little purchase.
I didn't remember.
And you have no idea what it went to. I don't know yet. We're discovering together.
Most likely was food. I mean, it probably was food.
Groceries?
Then maybe eating out.
No, Amazon Prime, Spotify, Audible, Apple. There's no food purchases in here. What are you talking about? This is different subscriptions in Amazon and both.
Well, okay, the Audible.
It's at a 34.74% interest rate.
I forgot that it was on there, and I didn't even realize that it was taking the Audible out of that card, so I canceled that as soon as I found out that it was taking money. But it probably, I think it was 7 months until I found out that it was on there, so.
pull up your phone for me. Let's look through your subscriptions and stuff.
Won't find much.
I hope so.
I've tweaked my phone a little bit.
Well, I've set him this entire time. Let's see what he... Is that a lesbian grinder?
Her,
That's
yeah.
interesting. It's not. Oh, it's not. Oh, Apple Arcade. That's what time to right now.
Yeah, and that's just
Had
free.
a lot of subscriptions.
The Apple Arcade, okay. The Apple Arcade, it's free until I think next month, and then I'm gonna cancel it. And that's just
Had
free.
a lot of. Subscriptions.
The Apple Arcade, okay. The Apple Arcade, it's free until I think next month, and then I'm gonna cancel it.
Okay. And then Amazon.
Amazon is where I bought all my furniture, except for my couch.
Yeah, a year ago. I don't care about a year ago.
Okay,
I care about what you're doing now, because there's 2 purchases on here right now. Alright, you haven't placed... That doesn't make any sense. Where were you placing these Amazon orders?
So that's so.
Can you log into your account? What happened?
Oh, you know what? That might be on my grandma's account that I put those purchases on because she has Prime and I.
Put on your card.
Yeah.
Can you log in?
Yeah.
What did you? What's? Okay.
Believe it or not, you can like log into another
What did you
account
buy?
accounts when you're logged in. That might be a difficult concept for you, but. But this is my grandma's account, so like obviously not all of what's on there is going to be. I think I bought for my cat. He had surgery.
How about you show me and I will determine.
So I needed to get him some things. So a lot of this is like my mom.
My producers are telling me
a lot of this is my.
You talked about the. Never. I don't even want to say that anymore because now they're just telling me something much more.
Oh, and I did my cat's
Okay.
So it's like this one.
That's amazing. That's what you're doing amazing.
I'm trying.
Okay, so my producers are telling me that. Yeah, when you talk to them about what's on this card, you didn't talk much about furniture. You talked about Uber eating like crazy.
Yeah.
And you talked about mostly purchases.
Oh, yeah, so...
So what the if that's
You were
what's led
talking
to
about
this.
Amazon. How am I supposed to know? Like,
No, I asked what's up with this card,
well,
and you went to furniture, and you went to furniture purchases a year ago.
Yeah.
They're telling me, from their knowledge of you, it is going out to eat Uber Eats style, so delivery, because you're high.
Yeah, I mean, it's not safe to drive when you're high.
Exactly. Well, this is maxing out a credit card because we're baked and trying to get Uber Eats.
I mean, at least I'm not like.
And then you refuse to go to the work in the next morning anyway, on time. I mean, come on, that is loser level behavior. If we're being honest, like if we're just looking at ourselves in life, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that is where you stand, is being a loser in life.
I don't think I'm a loser.
That's what that would suggest. Getting stuff every night and getting Uber Eats and maxing out a credit card with them, and then not showing up to work the next morning constantly, that is a loser.
You're
a loser.
That's an opinion that you're building based off of that.
Based on the information that I have, yeah.
I wouldn't say
what
that.
Else would I base it off of?
That's just your opinion. So.
Sure. What's the counter to that? Because that is how you live your life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. At least I'm not getting in a car and like just.
I'm not saying that either. You think did you hear me encouraging that? Did I suggest doing that? No, maybe you can't afford to eat out at all. You max out a credit card to eat while you're late. And then you refuse to go to work in the morning. There's multiple things to correct there.
Yeah.
Multiple. So there's nothing to defend there. Listen, you're a guest on the show. Even if I don't vibe with you very well so far, you get the simpler budget premium for free. The app. Make sure you download it. You get the premium version for free, so it automatically connects all your accounts. And you can see these categories adding up: your subscriptions, your Amazon purchases, you're going out to eat, your purchases. You will see it all, and you can manage it and build your budget, and it does it for you. Use the chat community feature and everything in there. We're building it to be the best budgeting app in the world. I'll give you this: a journal that you're going to fill out for the next time you return for your financial audit follow-up. And people who sign up for the annual version at a discount get this signed and sent to them, by the way. But you get that, again, for free. So I need you to journal your debt paying off progress.
We need to get this
Orient to the follow-up.
ASAP. Be ready for anything.
Fifth Third Bank. So, what is going on with this card?
Pretty much the same as the last card. Just the eating out.
Why is that your right? You know, again, some personalities don't really vibe, I'll be honest. You're not the character I'm supporting you being, but you came here with a valid concern. You're struggling to meet what it is because of your debt. Maybe would it possibly be because you go home, get completely fucked up every night, and Uber eats horrible food for you, and then you used to wake up the next morning? Would it maybe be those qualities that turn an individual off? Or actually be considered the thing you brought up? They didn't know how came here. How would they not know if they are dating you for 4 months? They might not know in the fourth day. But in the fourth month, they would probably know that you get faked out of your mind every single night and order every single night and not wake up every single day.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people that I would date, they would smoke too, so it's probably.
A lot of people do as a hobby. Yours sounds like a daily tradition.
I like to do it every day.
I know. No.
If I could be high all day.
Yes.
I was sure you'd have me over.
You're a great employee. This is why I'm so glad that I have a small business, because I would have just fired me. But no one at Amazon supports
But, so back to the credit card thing. I tend to max out my credit cards and then just move on to the next one.
So where are we on this? What was the one we just maxed out?
Mission Lane. And
so you just maxed out Mission Lane and now we can't spend any more on it? So, yeah, so you spent $564.33 on here.
Yeah.
And you're halfway to maxing it out. We are at $753.02. Minimum payment $35. Credit limit is $1,500. And
I'm halfway to maxing it out? It's not maxed out yet?
It's not.
Well,
I shouldn't have even told you that. Really? I'm thinking what? The same both?
Yeah, probably.
So what are you doing with your life? Listen, you told me the relationship thing, but I need to know something to grab onto so I can at least bring it back to you to try to give you some kind of encouragement by the end. What the f do you want to see your life looking like? Because right now, again, sir. Oh, I'm actually like, actually here. Oh, man. Listen, yeah, okay, sure. I'm asking, what do you want? You'd like to describe it to me. What are goals you have, things you want?
Well, I would like to be in a stable relationship and build a future with that person.
Oh gosh,
I'll tell you the same thing I told my ex during my last UTI.
Is that the only thing you care about?
You could save screwing me for a
Is that it? Is that all we have to grasp?
Well, I mean, also, I
looks like there'll be
clearly
no
I
rest
care
till
about.
Exfil.
And I feel like I've been enabled by a lot of people in my life. Like, I just had a friend give me an ounce. So, and, no, but then after that, I also went to find other ounce.
But you're gonna make me be.
No, don't do it because it's great. Don't not.
You're a ridiculous example of humanity. Why would I not be opposed to everything that has gotten you to where you are in front of me right now?
I mean, everybody has to be an example of something, so.
Look, you all. Mortgages and not get bamboozled. It's a big win. And remember, we always offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, but we have the lowest refund rate in the industry for a reason.
We have cut back on, but before, which is why I think the person gifted me an ounce because I think that they were thinking that I was smoking as much as I was, but I'm not anymore. So, but then I impulsively bought another ounce of like.
You grossers out. This is a person. Gross.
And you're probably thinking too, how are you even able to find a credit card? So
I'm
found
trying to think about this a lot. I'm sorry, my body is fighting.
in Illinois, we have dispensaries that you can use a debit card or cash to purchase marijuana, not a credit card.
Actually, it's a credit card. What's happening? Oh, because you put all your cash in your account so that you don't have any money to go and you spend your credit cards on.
No. So I found out that smoke shops have, in Illinois, they have one that has THCA in it, which is the main compound that's also found in dispensaries. Essentially just gets you high. And you can use your credit card in smoke shops. So that's how I've been funding my habit.
This is where I would normally say, get the Fizz card. It's a debit card that builds credit, but I don't want to associate.
I feel like that's not very valid, but okay. I mean, it's more expensive than fit smoke shops, so it's not like I would go.
Pay off. Just minimum 2 payments without purchasing anything else on it. And
Take it from a smuggler who knows.
Like 7 years, maybe?
3 years. Okay.
Oh, okay.
7 years.
It's maxed out now.
That long 6 or 7. You're right. So that's okay. So you max out a credit card every 2 months.
I'm here now, so am I okay with it? No.
You care now? What the fuck do you care now? Well, you just realized you woke up not next to someone the other day and you're like, oh, I care. What was the wake up? There was a wake up? You never wake up. So what was the wake up?
Well,
Oh, usually I see a glimmer. I usually see like a crevice. And I can break through that crevice to break through to the person and get them to something where they actually care by the end. But oh my goodness, I'm not finding it yet. And this is dangerously far into the conversation for me to not have a
Tangular bastard.
Oh.
I'm gonna turn you into your own funeral parlor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did ya? Have some kind of wake up?
So, funny story, I was watching a financial audit, and that person, just watching them and their decisions and the horse firm.
Okay, they literally came out. Okay, yeah. Sure.
That's when I had like my opinion, like for a while. Yes. which is why my Victor is now maxed out. So, because I was still making stupid decisions.
Most productive thing out of this conversation that I think I'm going to get by the end of this is someone's going to the big league of life. They're going to see this and be like, "Oh, good, that's me. I need to change something."
I hope you want to be friends today. Is that it?
So yeah, you're right. So it's like $1,500 now.
Yeah,
So
maybe like
what
You're being a proper see you next Tuesday.
It's probably doubles. I'm going to say like 70. Sounds
I was gonna say you cannot make fun of me. You pick up this phone, so.
Okay.
You just hit up like 10 minutes ago. What do you mean?
Oh, but you did make progress in something. See, they know things about you that I don't know, and I guess you're just refusing to say. You know actual discipline. Like, you should tell me this because I can work with it. Apparently, you smoke 3 packs a day using this card, and you just stopped like a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, so a lot of these purchases do cigarettes, and I quit cold turkey.
3 packs a day?
Yeah, I was smoking 3 packs a day.
How are your lungs here?
Well, I started at the end of September.
Wait, no. You started smoking at the end of September?
Yes, and I immediately started... Listen, I was under a lot of stress.
Your lungs are under a lot of stress.
Yes, but here I am, still alive and breathing.
But you started that a few months, thank goodness. That's the most... What the f***? What's stress? You work 32 hours a week and don't do anything other than smoke and eat food. What's stress? You have no stress. What the f*** happened to make you... You quit. So
I just kind of gave up.
That's insane. What made you quit? Cold turkey like that? That's insane.
I quit cold turkey because I knew that if I just continue going, I probably wouldn't be able to stop.
Yes. Same with your fucking spending, by the way.
And
same with your eating, by the way. Same with your debt, by the way. That all works like that.
I would also like to mention that I haven't smoked any weed since Friday, so I've also kind of quit cold turkey on that. But it's been good. Listen, we have to start somewhere. Yes, it's only been 4 days, but still.
A generous 4.
With how much I used to smoke to now? Because I used to smoke at least like 12 joints a day. Like being cold.
Oh my gosh, Lindsay, how do you do this to me? She just hits me with the information. And it's because you refuse to tell your entire story. For some reason. And she knows your entire story. You've quit before.
Yeah. No, so
what's different?
I also quit cigarettes before, so...
So you didn't
But that was when I was a teenager.
You didn't stop. You you're just halfway through your 20s. It wasn't that long ago.
It was like 5 years ago that I quit.
Which is not long ago. 5 years ago feels like that just happened in my life. Like, I still feel like it's 5 years ago.
It's an eternity for me. So.
Well, probably because you were fucking doped up the entire time. Dude,
I said heavily, I want to say like a year.
What the fuck is different this time? What the fuck is possibly different this time? You quit before and then you went back. For some reason, we're like, you know what? I avoided lung cancer. Let me dip into 3 packs a day immediately. That's insane. You know, we had a guest on the show when she was wheezing in her older years. Love her, very nice person, but she was wheezing because she can't breathe because she smokes like a pack of cigarettes a day. And you were at 3. Yes, anymore again.
Yes, but I didn't smoke for that long when I did when I was a teenager. So.
Anymore again, meaning this is something you've picked up.
Yeah.
Just look at the spending down here. Stopped 4 days ago.
We have to start somewhere.
Bumble at the top.
Yeah.
Bumble.
When I was trying to date.
So you
yeah, I don't really date anybody anymore.
Good. Maybe you need to fix yourself first.
I'm not actively trying to find people.
Good. Maybe you need to fix yourself first.
I mean, I do still talk to someone, so.
Someone.
Yeah.
Little F.
WB.
They're also in a pickle too. They're
Or you're looking at his pickle.
well, I mean that too.
Look at these purchases, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, they're all bad.
Uber Eats. Bumble again. What the fuck are you paying for on Bumble?
I think I was just doing like their day, like their per day.
No, but there's 3 immediately. Bumble.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I did the premium version, but it's huh?
Yeah, you can do premium of Bumble for like each day. You can do it per day.
It's $4 a day.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you doing? Listen,
I was just trying to like match with people so that I.
Women.
No. Not me. Maybe women in general have it easier than men. Yeah, maybe.
Yes. No. It's like it's the men who are usually considered the when me Bumble, the product I'm looking at the men. Women tend to be the product that the men pay for. Because,
yeah, but Bumble, it's the other way around. It's the woman who has to make the first move, and I
yeah, but it's still up to the men to do the swiping, typically.
Yeah, but I don't get a lot of matches on dating apps, so.
Struggling with weight management and tired of the endless loop of doctor visits and insurance hassles? Keep listening. You won't want to miss this.
Also, it's not just.
You getting to work over there?
So I don't have Bumble anymore, but.
Did you download it?
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I deleted the account. So I also didn't. For a while, I had a friend who was also into shroom gummies. And in fact, you can get those at the smoke shop as well. So it probably also wasn't just.
What are you blaming your friend on, huh?
I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that she was into it, so then I was.
Good for her. Because you have to do everything your friend does. So.
Yeah.
Are you lonely?
No. I mean, yeah, maybe.
You don't have to do everything your friend does.
I don't. I just also like friends, so. If she was partaking, I mean, I might as well too. Might as well join the party.
29.74% interest rate.
Yikes.
3 packs a day. I'm glad you stopped.
Honestly, that one compared to all the other cards, it's not that.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I'm just compared to all the other cards.
It doesn't matter if compared to reality, compared to me buying in my app that I personally use to invest in Moo. Yeah, I guess 10% a year on average. Yeah, 28's pretty bad. 28's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not the best, but it's also not
it's
the
not
worst.
good. And it doesn't matter if it's not the worst. It doesn't have to be getting shot right here isn't the worst. Probably this is, or this is. Doesn't mean that's good.
Well, yeah, being shot doesn't sound fun.
No, neither does getting charged 30% in interest, basically. Rounded. I also think, honestly, if I'm just thinking of the resource we connect you with, I need you to sit down with a therapist. We'll give you 3 free therapy sessions with sound in mind.
Believe it or not, I'm also in therapy as well.
Yeah, you must be just in the endless cycle. And someone that's like enabling you at this point, hearing everything.
I actually just switched my therapist, so.
Well, hopefully they do something. Why did you switch?
Because I wasn't getting anything out of my own therapist. I saw her for like 2 years, and she was great, but after a while, like, you just. No, not at all. No, she would call me out on my bullshit all the time.
You just didn't listen.
Clearly not.
So I don't think it was her that was wrong. I think it was you that was wrong. So now you're looking for someone who's not going to call you out on your bull.
No, I needed a more trauma-focused therapist, so.
I'm leaving this conversation with trauma. Okay, just to cover it. $1,583.37. The minimum monthly payment of $52. And the last one, this was maxed out.
Yeah.
This was maxed out.
So the interest rate just kind of like bites me in the ass, and it just keeps going up. So it's over the amount that I was supposed to have on there. Well, not supposed to have, but put on there.
This is insane. We were at $1,583.37 with a $1,500 credit limit.
The interest is free. You know, it's basis 52. You don't even pay that full minimum payment. How long does this take to pay off?
Like 5 years?
10 years. You'll be mid-30s. You'll be mid-30s with nothing
Probably
at all happened in your life. Nothing, well, exactly. Well, because you didn't fix anything of you. There's a lot of behavior things that we need to put effort into fixing. If we want to get out there and we are looking for that connection, you have to put in the work. There is work I have to put in. Okay? So I get it. I can relate to you in this in a slightly different way. I'm not necessarily the best at, getting to the multi-date step. I'm good at getting dates. Always been good at getting dates. I'm a little gooner. I have little hookups. I'm a single dude.
I get it.
It's fun. But I am also looking for something more real. And luckily, hopefully I found that person because we really like each other and it's fun. We're a couple months in, whatever. But for you, I can relate to that. You are not going to find somebody if you do not fix yourself first, because you're going to try to use them as a crutch to fix you, and they are not going to stick around. Why the f would they? Why the f would they?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've asked that myself, and I don't really have a good answer.
They said this entire card was 2.
Yeah, I could believe that.
3 credit cards maxed out on fucking. This is insane. I mean, if you go through an ounce,
probably gonna be more. Probably gonna be more.
Why? You quit 3 days ago, 3.5.
Yeah.
Why is there probably gonna be more? That's not something I want to hear in this conversation. Why is there probably gonna be more?
Well, those aren't from 3 days ago.
Huh?
I said those aren't from 3 days ago.
What?
The statements.
Is there more on here?
Yeah.
It's higher balance?
No,
It's already maxed out.
yeah, I can't spend any more money on that, but like on other cards, maybe. It wouldn't surprise me.
Smoky notes? You literally quit smoking a year ago and then you fell back into it. You tried to talk about in high school, teenagers. You smoked weed last year, you quit. And you got back into it. And you go through more than I've ever heard was even consumable on a daily basis. And then you max out all your credit cards with them. And then you spend all your food getting, your money getting, and then not waking up the next day because all you care about is substance and just laying on the couch and looking around and being a lazy loser. Sounds insulting, but that is like, I think, what the word is actually meant for. Like, it's not an actual insult.
I was in a better position, but I want to say at the beginning of 2023.
Well, because
2024.
Well, yeah, because you quit. You quit it.
Right, but then
and also actually, and now you quit it for 3.5 days. So what confidence? What confidence is it?
So I have had not as many credit cards maxed out, but I have had credit cards maxed out before, and I've followed.
That's worse.
I followed the Dave Ramsey baby steps, and I paid them all off, and then I started to save money in an emergency savings because this is before they had the emergency savings first. And I got up to like $800, and then I just said, I guess we did, and just went to town on food.
There's so much going on up there anyway.
I think you might be lying. I think you might be lying.
Why?
Why? Because I don't go into these conversations knowing the finances, but they asked me where I wanted to put a document. So I know there is a document in it. And that document
Keep pushing. We need to find out what caused all this.
is a consolidation, someone that we'll get to. They said that consolidation was your previous debts. That is not the Dave Ramsey method.
Okay, no, first of all, that's not what I'm talking about. I paid off.
So you did it 3 times then. You paid it off, then you built it all the way back up, then you consolidated it, and then you built it all the way back up again.
I didn't do it 3 times, I did it once, where I paid off all the debts. I don't think taking a consolidation loan is paying off debts. Because you have that there. But I'm saying back in 2023 to 2024, I paid off all my debt that I had.
slingshot, I'm fucking done.
Delta? Hey.
Yeah.
Delta?
I'm sorry.
Delta? Here we are.
A lot of the stuff that's on that Discover credit card, too, so, like, it's not all of my purchases. I had to help my family out. Specifically my mom. 200 of that is to help her get her license reinstated, so she can help take care of it.
Her license reinstated?
Yeah.
What did she do? Wait, what do you mean?
She made some mistakes, and she got her license suspended, so...
Okay. What did she do?
She got a DUI. I didn't get the DUI, she did. Don't look at me like that.
I just feel like you're on that path. It kind of makes more sense if, like, that's your mom. That's your mom. I'm not making fun of it, but, I mean, it does translate. If you grow up in that kind of house.
Yeah, we're a little messed up. Just a little bit.
It's not cute.
I mean, I didn't say that it was.
But that just means it has to take extra effort and extra work for you to do better. Actually listen to a therapist that says you need to change things and calls you out on that bull instead of you just going and finding someone else that's going to tell you what you want.
I will say the first therapist that I had, she was the one who helped me pay off all my debt the first time. So
Probably should have stuck with her.
But eventually she stopped helping.
Maybe you shouldn't have access to debt because you don't know how to manage it to save your fucking life.
Probably not, but also, what if something happens and I need the money that I don't have?
That's what an emergency fund's for. What are you talking about? You went through the Dave Ramsey method. But did you only stop at number 2?
Before I started picking up again, yeah.
Number 3 is that 3 to 6 month emergency fund, if I'm not mistaken.
Technically, I didn't even finish step 2 because I didn't save $1,000. I only saved $800.
That's step 1.
Well, now it is, but before it was step 2. Step 1 was paying off all your debt and then saving for the emergency fund, but then they flipped it because a lot of people were complaining. Because what if something happened?
You went through all that and you're able to speak on that, which I didn't even know. You're able to speak on that, and yet we are in this situation, and you're just like,
yeah.
When did you break up with you?
My ex broke up with me at the end of 2022.
We're reeling over that?
I'm not.
You were together for a few months, and he broke up with you in 2022?
Oh, I don't even know. No. I thought you were talking about my ex. I don't consider...
You brought up a breakup at the beginning.
I dated them, but we weren't, like, in a relationship. We just were dating for 4 months. Not in a relationship.
When do you consider it?
When they asked me to be their girlfriend. So we were dating. And
how long were you guys together?
In that not relationship.
In the fucking real relationship.
2 years.
Okay, why did he break up?
He said that he wanted to go back to school.
So it's that guy.
Wasn't sure about, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, we're friends, so.
Give it another shot?
I mean, I wouldn't mind, but also that's his decision. I don't know if he's ready.
Did you ask him?
No. Because I'm not going to be... He's the one that broke up with me. I'm not going to be the one to be like, oh, hey, want to start
allowed to have adult conversations.
Right, but I don't feel like having that adult conversation.
Well, there you go. That's what it is. It's you and your immaturity. I'm very blunt to people, very forward to people, and it rubs some people the wrong way. So I get it. I've experienced that. But sometimes you got to get out there and actually do...
I just don't think I'm ready
Make
to
a move.
date or be in a relationship with him again.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
I was about to just go shank everyone.
Because the way he broke up with me was not okay. So.
Why breaking up with you? Because he wanted
the way that
different?
he did it.
How did he do it?
He did it over Snapchat.
Oh,
Snapchat.
yes, he needs his immature as you or something. Okay.
Probably.
I guess I missed this credit card in my fury of annoyance. We have a credit 1, which means we're basically bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the absolute barrel. Like mine. Okay. Okay, no, we're good. 1,000.
What card are you on?
Credit 1. $1,134.37. Do you have space on this card?
That card is not anymore. It's fully maxed out now.
This is I have never seen more repetitive notes. I've never seen more repetitive notes. I look over to see if there's anything special I should know or ask any questions, and it says lots of purchases.
What can I say? I'm consistent.
It's like, that's all you are. Your entire life is.
So the Trump trade war is here as the Donald Trump and Elon Musk clown show continues. I want to give you an update and what's going on in the markets, and let's jump right in. So first headline, inflation eased in February, but trade war threatens higher prices. The read we got on inflation was 2.8%, so still not down to the 2% that the Fed has been talking about for a long time. We may never get there, and now we have a trade war because essentially Trump keeps slapping on tariffs, right? And now other countries are retaliating. So you have this EU, Canada retaliates against Trump's tariffs as trade war escalates. This is what it says. With a deal still elusive, the EU executive branch, the European Commission, said that starting April 1st, so was that a couple weeks from now, the bloc will reimpose tariffs dating to Trump's first term. It will then place extra measures targeting more than $19 billion in products by mid-April. After consulting with EU member states, here's the quote: "We deeply regret this measure." That's coming from the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. She said here, "Jobs are at stake, prices up. Nobody needs that." Trump is then going to hit back, is what it says. So Trump vows the U.S. will respond to Europe's metal tariff retaliation. And effectively, it's a trade war, right? Will then Trump raise tariffs, and other countries will raise back, probably. And that's sort of how this game is played. And what happens is that there's going to be new trading blocks and new investments in other countries because people are like, hey, why would you want to invest in this crazy Trump America when you can have your money somewhere else? So, for example, this is the headline today in New Zealand. It says New Zealand pitches itself as safe haven in global storm. So there's going to be a big fight, for investor dollars and for business. Be like, hey, we're more stable around the world. UK officials urge pension funds to invest 10% of assets at home. Right? You may just have less interest in wanting to do business with Trump or any of that crazy stuff. Trump, and Musk, they keep saying, hey guys, you're all going to be rich because we're so awesome. And I keep mentioning this story over and over again because it's underreported, something you should talk about more. This is the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Remember, basically Trump and Musk's plan is to put a bunch of tariffs on products, so tax on you, take that tax money, throw it into the slush fund, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, and then put that money into Musk projects or the other billionaire buddy projects, be it AI, crypto, whatever stupid stuff that they want to do. That's their plan. And it's interesting because part of what's going on as well, and it goes here behind closed doors. So this was from the Wall Street Journal. There was a couple of meetings of CEOs. One was with Trump. The other one was with the Yale management, Yale School of Business. And basically, people don't like what Trump is up to. Now, they don't say so publicly so much because they're worried about backlash. today's world, basically Trump or Musk can tweet out, a particular person, and then all of their followers are like, oh, I hate that company, I'm not going to shop there, etc. So people are actually concerned about that. It's interesting to hear this stuff. I'll read through the stuff and you'll see what I'm saying. It says here, CEOs don't plan to openly question Trump. Ask again if the market crashes 20%, right? If it really affects their stock prices and their investors, right, constituents in terms of the business side, you may have a different change of tune. This is how it's described. It's really interesting. How business leaders talk about Trump administration in private has been markedly different than what they are game to say in public. The dissonance was on full display here this week, and that's what they say. They say early on Tuesday, dozens of corporate executives and others assembled at a Yale CEO caucus not far from the White House, just as news emerged that the Trump administration planned to potentially double tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada. This is how people responded. Those in the room responded with a mix of groans and shocked laughter. It's funny when I read that, I was like, that sounds like me. I mean, it's like how else do you respond to stuff? It's like, you have this groan, like, oh my god, we have to do this again, and then you have this laughter of like, oh my god, this guy's an idiot. It's very interesting. So if you're having that same sort of response whenever you hear like something stupid that Trump's up to, oh hey, we're starting war with Canada, or hey, we want to take over Greenland, or hey, we want Canada to be the 51st state, or whatever nonsense that Trump says on a daily basis, you're not alone. People feel this too. And they did an impromptu survey at this Yale event. The question was, how much more do stock markets need to collapse before CEOs need to speak out collectively? And it was like the choices were, 20% decline, 30%, or 50%. And then people were like, well, 20% decline, we'll all speak out. So, people do know that Trump's an idiot. They don't necessarily say it, out in public, but they might if it really get to this point. My opinion is that, that's a tricky one. Because CEOs, generally speaking, you want to stay out of politics, just generally speaking, right? Because you don't want to piss off any, possible consumers. The problem is if you have someone in the Trump situation just really wrecking your business, wrecking the economy, wrecking the country, right? You should probably say something. So it's kind of tricky, right? Do you guys see what I'm saying? And so that's why a lot of CEOs just kind of want to stay out of it, right? And this is the charge environment that we're in. So, for example, it'll say here, some corporate bosses say they believe they can have more of an impact in talks behind closed doors rather than in public, right? So they are trying to, what's the right word to say it? Well, you could say,
depending on your, CEO's point of view, am I going to try to play the bribe game? Because that's, what Musk and Trump are up to. We're open for business, right? It's all about oligarchies and that kind of thing. It's tricky. For example, says that they worry public criticism will make them a target of President's bully pulpit and prompt him to dig in, not retreat from his tariff agenda. And here's a quote here from CEO of Medtronic, or former CEO. I've been struck by how fearful people are and how unwilling they are to speak out. That has not been true in the past. They don't want to get on the wrong side of the president and his constituents. Other things going on. It's actually there's a lot of news coming out every day. Just seeing this stuff. Walmart is calling China to try to get Chinese factories to absorb the cost of the tariffs by lowering their prices. Because basically what it is Trump's putting a tax. The American companies, say Walmart example, is on the hook for that, and then generally they're just going to raise prices and pass the cost on to you, the consumer. Now, theoretically, Walmart can call us, factory in China and say, hey, we don't want to have to raise prices, or we'll lose business, etc. Can you cut prices? So then, the factory in China is like, well, our margins are already really slim. Good luck, right? So that's where the negotiation is. Who's going to eat the prices of these tariffs? Now, again, though, the importer pays the taxes, so to make that clear. But yes, they're trying to figure out a way to, offset the cost that they can. People inside the White House and Brandon are already, pretty shaky on the Trump tariff stuff. It's just not good for business, not good for trade. On top of that, this is a really interesting one that just came out a few minutes ago. The Democrats are threatening possible government shutdown. So basically, if everyone, and I think the Republicans have 53 seats in the Senate, something like that. So they don't have the votes. They need 60 to get anything that they want through. And so they maybe we'll have a shutdown. I don't know. Shutdowns are always a tricky thing because politically, whoever has the more effective message for the public will get the blame. So, for example, if the Democrats come out and say, "Hey, the blame is on Elon Musk. He's firing you," these kind of things, and this is our way to stand up. We're going to shut down the government until we get Elon Musk out, right? And they won't go back to business, something like that. The Republicans, I think you already know their game plan. It'll be, well, these Democrats are just obstructing the progress of America, and they're the ones who are causing the shutdown, and it's all their fault. They're the ones who don't want America to work for you, or et cetera. So we'll see how voters, constituents respond to.
Canadian officials have said over and over, if the U.S. imposes tariffs on steel and aluminum, Canada would respond. Today, the federal government followed through. It delivered a direct blow of its own, 25% levies on billions in U.S. goods. Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc unspooled the details from Ottawa.
The Government of Canada, following a dollar-for-dollar approach, will be imposing, as of 12:01 a.m. tomorrow, March 13th, 2025, 25% reciprocal tariffs on an additional $29.8 billion of imports from the United States. This includes steel products worth $12.6 billion and aluminum products worth $3 billion, as well as additional imported U.S. goods worth $14.2 billion for a total of $29.8 billion.
The CBC's Olivia Stevanovich joins us live from our Ottawa bureau. So, Olivia, break down the details of how Canada is responding.
Well, Andrew, these new counter tariffs, these dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs worth $29.8 billion of U.S. goods, is in addition to $30 billion the federal government previously announced targeting other American products. So in total now, Canada is retaliating against the U.S., against more than $60 billion worth of U.S. goods in total. And these new measures that will kick in after midnight, they target American steel and aluminum products specifically, and also some other products that weren't on Canada's list before, including computers, sporting equipment, and also cast iron products. Now, federal ministers who made this announcement this morning in Ottawa noted that they don't want to do this because this will increase costs for Canadians who buy these U.S. goods, but they say they're left with no other choice but to defend these key Canadian industries.
My dear friends, whether you're in Canada or in the United States, we cannot let uncertainty become the new certainty in North America. That cannot stand. That will make us less competitive. That's going to weaken us, and that's going to affect our economic security and ultimately our national security.
Now, it is possible we may see even more countermeasures from Ottawa because of this 25% tariff that the U.S. has now put in place against Canadian steel and aluminum, because ministers noted that this new tariff does not only target raw Canadian steel and aluminum, but products that contain Canadian steel and aluminum. So we could see more announcements in the coming days. In the meantime, Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly had a specific message for Americans during the press conference. Let's take a listen.
Please help us end these tariffs as quickly as possible. And please talk to your
Did you notice that Donald Trump has taken the American economy from boom to the dangerous precipice of a bust in just 35 days? Now, I'm not here to tell you we are in a recession. I don't play politics with this stuff. Once, if and when we meet the guidelines for a recession, I will tell you, we're not there yet. But if you blinked, you might have missed that 1 minute Trump was taking a victory lap, pointing to the great stock market as if it was his personal approval rating. And then the next moment, Jim Cramer on CNBC sounds like he's about to have a full-blown aneurysm, shouting, "They're crushing us," while foreign markets surge and the American stock market craters. So what happened? How did we go from economic boom to full-scale recession panic in just 35 days? But just a few weeks ago, the markets were at all-time highs. The economy seemed fine. We weren't yet in a trade war. Now, as a caveat, of course we always have structural problems beneath the surface. We have income inequality in the U.S. We have unsustainable debt. We have wage stagnation over long periods of time. Poverty. On paper, most major economic indicators looked okay. And then Trump did what Trump does. He throws a grenade into the system, and then everybody acts surprised when it explodes. First, he announces the tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from Canada, because nothing screams stable economy like a trade war with one of our closest allies. Then they do reciprocal tariffs. Then Trump doubles or cuts, or we don't know when it ends, or is it suspended? We just don't know. Then Trump starts making these vague, ominous comments about how he's not ruling out a recession. He's just sort of, we're going to have a period of transition, which is basically like a pilot getting on the intercom mid-flight and saying, listen, I'm not here to say we're crashing. Like, I don't like to use that word. We are going to have a period during which the plane is going to be doing things that are not the normal things you want a plane doing. We would all be worried. We would be saying, what on earth are we being told? Markets rely on confidence, predictability, and stability. They went into a free fall. 1,000-point drop in a single day for the Dow, 700-point drop, 600-point drops. And then you see what Wall Street analysts are saying, and they're saying, we may be in the direction of a recession. Now, I proposed that maybe Donald Trump is manufacturing a recession on purpose to allow his robber baron friends to come in and buy everything up cheap, make money on it, privatize. CNBC's Jim Cramer, whose predictions are rarely accurate, is wondering the same thing. He said Trump may indeed be manufacturing a recession and playing with fire, committing economic arson. And even Fundstrat analysts asked, is Trump deliberately letting Germany and China's stock markets surge while tanking our oil? If Trump had a strategy, it's the economic equivalent of setting your house on fire, bragging about how much money you're going to save on heating bills, and then saying, we're doing a great job creating firefighter jobs in this administration. Or a different analogy, the arsonist that set the fire puts it out and says, I'm a hero. I've put out a fire. Yes, a fire that you set by choice. So we see consumer confidence getting rattled, people delaying purchases, companies slashing profit forecasts.
economic forecast rise downward. We saw the GDP Now forecast saying we're going to be down 2.8% GDP. Let me check where it is now, actually, just to be accurate. The GDP Now model for real GDP growth now says minus 2.4. Okay, so a little bit less bad. It was all the way down to we're going to lose 2.8% GDP in Q1. Now it says we're going to lose 2.4. Delta Airlines cut profit outlook, says deteriorating consumer confidence is the reason. And even Goldman Sachs, which is no bastion of progressive alarmism that just wants to make Republicans look bad, even Goldman Sachs said, we are also raising the odds of a recession to 1 in 5. At some point, this administration is going to have to face reality. Trump will either do a 180 on policy. Maybe he'll announce an abrupt policy change on Truth Social. Maybe he'll start blaming Biden for an economy that actually Trump controls. The best case scenario right now is Trump does back off on the tariffs. He finds some face-saving way to back off of the tariffs. There will be sort of a sigh of relief from the standpoint of business, and we narrowly avoid a completely self-inflicted economic catastrophe. Now, the worst-case scenario, and we may be going in this direction too, is that Trump doubles down and consumer confidence collapses even more, the job losses spike, and very quickly we're back to 2008 levels of economic despair. Except this time, it would be because Trump chose to slap tariff.
Right? Not weakness. Giving stuff up early just shows that we're weak. I think the president thought he was, showing some strength when they were in the Oval Office, I believe, so that was not productive. That's not who we are as a country. This stuff should not be done in front of a camera. But I think right where we are right now, I think Mike Pence and Marco Rubio made some progress. Let's try to continue the progress. Let's not blow things up again. Let's not go back and I mean, who knows what could happen, but we don't need to stop the weapons support and the intelligence. That would be a mistake to go down that road again. I mean, you see this with Paris, right? You're bouncing back and forth all over the place. Let's be consistent.
Well, to really say that you're at least hopeful about where these talks could go. We'll see, obviously, how Russia responds. When you got back from Ukraine, you posted about your trip, and you did really leave thread that everyone should read, just like what it was like on the ground. Elon Musk responded by calling you a traitor.
He did. What? Well, that was kind of my reaction. When I was flying over Iraq and got out, or flying in the space shuttle, never once for a second did I think somewhere down the road somebody's going to call me a traitor. But Caitlin, this isn't really about me and what I'm really concerned. Oh yeah, I mean, it's a guy with a lot of power, a lot of influence over this government. I think it says a lot about him. It says much more about him than it does about me. But what really concerns me is veterans that he is firing without cause from the government. These are public servants. I had a disabled veteran in my office the other day that had recently received an excellent performance report, and 3 weeks later, Elon Musk fires him. That's wrong. That's not fair. Fired without cause. It ruined his life. There were 6,000 veterans.
We also saw Todd Young and Lindsey Graham push back on what Elon Musk had to say, calling you a traitor. Are you surprised that you haven't heard from more Senate Republicans or Republicans?
I've heard from them in the Armed Services Committee in the anti-room today. We were
what did they say?
Kind of joking about
take everything I have and flip the bird for my trouble, isn't it?
I got to be careful when I say, in public about what my Republican colleagues say, but we were talking about what he said about me, and it would have been interesting for you to watch.
Why? Because they were essentially, without naming them.
We get along very well. I've got very good relationships with my colleagues. And I would say that they don't like this kind of thing.
The Senate Republicans don't like Elon Musk calling you a traitor.
There are a number of them that like me to talk about this, and yeah, of course they can.
I'm surprised that this is the same one
This
that
guy
behind
has a
George
very
going.
powerful job. He's got tremendous influence. After the president, I don't think there's somebody with more influence right now
You know exactly what this
than
girl
Elon
wants.
Musk. And he's wasting his time on Twitter, insulting people, insulting veterans, calling me a traitor, calling other people's names. Is this a serious person? I don't think he is. So why do you give him this influence? And by the way, I think it's really important for the American people to know that the reason he's doing all this, the reason he's firing all these people, is so he can create some room so when they give this big giant tax cuts to billionaires, it doesn't add as much money to the deficit and the debt as it costs. That's why it's doing this.
Speaking of what's happening on Capitol Hill, this week, senators, Democrats are going to be looking to pass this funding bill that just passed the House tonight. The House Republicans. Are you going to vote yes to that?
Decided. There aren't good options here. I'm not. So I have decided shutting down the government is bad. A CR, a year-long CR, ceding all this influence to the White House. This CR that was done just by Republicans. Usually this is done in a bipartisan way. Continuing resolution, we work together on it. This is just Republicans. This gives more power to the White House. And by the way, I haven't made a decision yet, but by the way, a CR is also bad in general for the Department of Defense. But shutting down the government is bad for so many people that are going to be laid off. And then they're already shutting down parts of the government. So if it shuts down, what is Elon Musk doing to allow a movement back up? That's a big concern. Like, how many more veterans is Elon and this administration going to fire? And so there's not a good option.
I'll see if you're going to decide. Senator Mark Kelly, thank you for your time and for your service.
Okay, let's bring in Democratic Congressman Brendan Boyle of Pennsylvania. He is the ranking member of the House Budget Committee and also a member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Thank you for being on, Congressman. Just your reaction so far to these tariff wars.
This is probably the dumbest war the United States has ever fought by far. You know, when you think back just 6 months ago to all the campaigning that was happening nationwide, but especially in my state of Pennsylvania, the biggest battleground state of the last presidential election, both sides were talking about the need to reduce costs for the average American family. That was by far the number one issue, as polls showed. And here we are, months later, President Trump is purposely doing something not to bring down costs, but to dramatically increase them. It makes no sense.
Congressman, good morning. Yesterday, the House voted to pass the CR. We'll see what happens in the Senate now. Give us your thoughts, though, as this happens against the backdrop of what we've seen from the Trump administration, not just the, shall we say, haphazard economic policy that has sent the markets, for the most part, in a tailspin the last few days, but also what Elon Musk is doing to government agencies.
Yeah, you know, over the last couple of weeks, people have asked me about a hypothetical government shutdown to commence midnight on Friday. And I try to remind folks who ask me that we are already in a partial government shutdown. So I voted against the continuing resolution, or CR, yesterday. I don't know how I could vote to fund agency X on one day, and then the very next day, the agency that I voted to fund is illegally shut down by Elon Musk and his frat bros. So for me, and I think for almost all of my Democratic colleagues, without any sort of ironclad assurance that what we were voting for would be carried out, there was no way we could vote yes.
Congressman Mara Gay here. Do you see the tariffs as producing enough pain for the constituents of your Republican colleagues to create any daylight between them and the White House, or is that still a hard no?
Well, I mean, so many of my Republican colleagues will announce that they will no on the bill, and then they will get one phone call from President Trump, and then suddenly...
The Sentinel artifact. It should be somewhere in that excavation site.
Are they willing to accept the ceasefire?
The artifact is our only hope of bringing Nexus back from the dark.
Why crap have gone bloody die before telling us what to do?
We'll have contact with the state authorities, contact with the level counterparts, different members of the administration, and that'll continue. But as far as the Russian reaction to the essentially question, and that is, and this is a few hours old, we're going to bring it to them directly. We're going to say that Ukraine is prepared to stop all battlefield activity and begin the immediate process of negotiating and enduring end to the war. And we'll see what their response is. If their response is yes,
I think one of the reasons why this happened is they froze the aid too. Because if they know America's not going to keep giving them aid, they're fucked. I mean, they just are. And so, like, it's already been going on for this long. Yeah, they basically had to do this.
you know, we've made real progress.
Kinds of urges to punch that fella right in the balls.
No, it'd be highly unfortunate, and it would make their intentions clear. So that's what we're hoping to hear from them. And obviously, as I said, this was not free reign for them, so they're probably processing the same as the rest of the world. So we hope to have a
So they might not know what's going on. A lot of the winning party on the battlefield accept the ceasefire until their demands are met. Because it might not be worth resources to continue doing it, and they could settle for something that's good enough and then stop doing it. Like, even if you're winning also costs something. Like, you think about the Russian POV, right? Like, I mean, there's a cost of winning and there's a cost of losing. Losing costs more, but winning also costs money. Lives, and it's like, bullets are expensive, bombs are expensive.
What would be a good declaratory statement on Russia?
No, you take the time you need.
Well, I think the perfect
Not like I got other shit to do.
the United States has done good things for the world and bringing this process forward, and now we all mutually agree. And
It's like you never know when to
the
quit.
Russian response encouraged strongly to consider ending all hostility, so people will stop dying, so bullets will stop flying, and so a process can begin to find a permanent peace. I think the first step in all this is the acceptance that there is no military solution to this conflict. Neither side is military
Definitely not YA, but
maximus gain.
what you see is what you get.
Their maximus goal. Neither side can achieve military stuff. The only way to
That's probably true. I mean, like, yeah, probably true. It's a really good point. Yeah, it's like, this is just like, you're not getting anywhere, they're not getting anywhere. Like, how much longer do you want to waste your money? Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to happen. And so we need to start that process. And it is hard to start a process when each other people are dying. And so our hope is that we'll stop that, all these hostilities, and get to a table where both sides, in some period of time, with a lot of hard work, can find a mutually acceptable outcome. That
Things are pretty dog shit as it is. No need to make it worse. You got it?
Secretary, thank you for update us on Mr. Witkoff's plans for Moscow and whether he'll be meeting with President Putin. And then separately, if you wouldn't mind elaborating on something that Mr. Walt said yesterday about the specifics that you discussed with the Ukrainians about what the end of the war was like. You had mentioned trying to get maps out and draw lines, but you actually talked about it very closely with President Putin.
Yeah, I think Ukraine is 100% giving up territory. Like, I really hope that I'm wrong, because I don't think that they should. And I think it's bullshit that they should have to. But I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm not going to make any announcements, but suffice it to say there's going to be multiple points of contact with the Lawrence. They're willing to do this or not. And as far as the conversations that were yesterday, yeah, when you sit down with the counterpart,
I'll do it again. Many bloody times.
we're not going to negotiate publicly. We're not going to actually put out there sort of what we
Probably
talked
a
about.
complex because of you. I'm going to need to switch careers.
An element we don't
Seriously,
want
all
on
I
side
do is see the
where all the budget from the public perspective. We kind of talked about
There'll be no rest
what
till X.
but I think the bulk of the conversation was what a negotiation process would look like in terms of not what the conditions, but rather the timing of it.
Get out of there.
The Ukrainians made very clear that this isn't just about ending a war. They need to get the prisoners of war back. They need to get the children back. They'd like to see them exchange the prisoners of war. They'd like to see their children back. So there's all sorts of things tied to the humanitarian assistance is important as well. There are areas of Ukraine that have been badly damaged. They require further assistance. So these are the sorts of things that we're talking about as being inclusive in the process. So really,
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Children, yeah, of course. Somebody says early in his presidency, Leonard expressed interest in Russia potentially joining NATO. In a 2000 interview with BBC, he stated that he could not envision Russia isolated from Europe and suggested that NATO membership should be considered if Russia were to be treated as an equal partner. Now, I'm not a very big conspiracy theorist, but
I think that to an extent, I would not be surprised if maybe there is a possibility that a lot of these escalating tensions with Russia are just artificial in order to justify more money spent on defense. That's just me.
The president threatening even more tariffs, and that's against warnings about a Trump recession. We have seen the retaliation continue. That's why it's called a trade war. And these are countries that we usually do not approach anything like an economic war with, let alone real wars. We're talking about long-standing American allies. Today, the news from Canada and the EU, billions of dollars in tariffs, ranging from textiles, water heaters, beef, bourbon, many key American products. The impacts are immediate. The stock market continues a volatility that is driven by, partly at least, these Trump moves. We've seen that as almost a uniform opinion, and I'm going to show you some Wall Street Journal and other reporting on that in a moment. But today, in the last few hours, stocks are mostly flat. That comes, though, after a 10% slide, which the markets have not regained. Business leaders say that even if you were open-minded to some of what Trump wants to do, what the goals may be, this has been confusing, incompetent, and at times downright chaotic. The top Trump aide who's been running point on this stuff, the Commerce Secretary, when asked about whether we could be heading into a recession or whether all of this would be worth it, he gave an answer that was as astounding for its economic claim as it is for its political, tone-deaf positioning. Take a look.
Will these policies be worth it if they lead to a recession, even a short-term recession?
These policies are the most important thing America has ever had.
So it is worth it.
It's worth it.
Quote, it is worth it. That is what a gaffe looks like in real time. Number one, from Donald Trump on down, not even the supporters of this trade war, this tariff policy, claim that they want to dive into a recession. You think about what Americans been through from pandemic on and inflation on. No one in this last election cycle was asking for policy that would increase the odds of recession. The fact that I even have to say that as a partial fact check or context about what a U.S. official in charge of the economy is saying is itself wild. But second, politically, we've never seen this attitude towards a potential recession. Not from the Commerce Secretary Lutnick and not from Donald Trump himself, who over the weekend failed to calm markets by basically saying, hey, we'll see what happens, and we might have to buckle up for some tough stuff. Now, why does this seem like such an extreme, hard-edged economic version of Trumpism? Even more hardcore than really the economic agenda of the first Trump term? Well, one of the answers relates to something you probably know about if you follow the news, which is many of the moderating influences from law and the Justice Department to economics that we're talking about right now to foreign policy. Some of those folks who were around the so-called adults in the first term, most of them are gone. What's left are people who, after an insurrection and all those indictments and all those other Trump problems, the people who still stand 100 with everything Donald Trump has been exposed to be, from ethics to policy.
There are a lot of unsettled people. Sure. But let's first of all put this marker down. To the extent that the media fuels the recession, inflation kind of talk, that's going to push us into recession and inflation.
President Trump is the one that said that he couldn't rule it out, not me.
Let me just finish the thought here. My point is simply that there's a lot of people's hair on fire now, which is interesting because the last jobs report we got on Friday was robust. It was a robust report.
It's like 150,000.
Yeah, that's a good number.
That's what we're hearing from the White House. But let me tell you what they're saying today over at the Journal. Trump behaves as if his manhood is implicated because a foreign nation won't take his nasty border taxes lying down. And they continue on, which is why I showed you what they've been saying diplomatically, perhaps, for some weeks. Quote, we said from the beginning that this North American trade war is the dumbest in history, and we were being kind. Well, Mr. President, you've done got the journal mad now. But of course, they're mad about something real. Sometimes, I've told you, all these bankers and Wall Street elites are following these quarterly earnings and other numbers that they care about for their investments, which the vast majority of Americans don't even benefit from, and that sometimes are in tension with labor and employee situations, right? Some of these companies, they make money by cutting jobs. Here, the Wall Street Journal, the investor elites actually are, right now, at least for this moment, kind of on the same side of a lot of workers who don't think a recession or a trade war will help the workers of this country. And the economic fallout has Americans paying the price. A job is a job, remember. So as Trump and Musk cut the government, they're cutting jobs. There's many conservative attacks on government jobs specifically, the so-called bureaucrats, as Elon Musk might put it, but he's still slashing the total number of employed Americans in a haphazard way. Analysts note that if you want strong U.S. employment numbers, many of those ousted workers have to shift to apply for private sector jobs. That affects the job market. If they're not absorbed, the overall job market gets worse, partly in relation to Trump and Musk cutting jobs. You don't need an economic textbook for that part. These costs are hitting veterans, teachers, and students. There's cuts to the weather and environmental safety staff. This hits all states, including the red states that back Trump, where you have over 970,000 federal workers in just those states alone. Republicans have noticed GOP politicians pleading with Trump to just at least stop these cuts in their own district. A classic, not in my backyard, selfish sort of political survival mechanism, which Axios and others are reporting on so people can see, oh, you don't want it in your backyard, why should it be in my backyard? That's a type of political weakness, of course. Or there's public colleges, long a point of pride and, frankly, patriotic, populist opportunity in our country. State schools often enable the highest share of students to get to college. They have admissions programs, as you can tell from any sports match